Streets. It's been a long day, baby. Y'all to see me working today. Okay. I feel like I've been on all day. I've been on like I've guessed it on 3 or 4 different streams and shows today. I've been taking all my client calls. I've been on like 4 site visits. But I promised you guys that we were going to do this breakdown. And I'll be honest, this is probably going to take us a few segments to get through this. So y'all know the deal. If you want to sound off, you want to be a part of this panel, go ahead, pull yourself up here. Let me get y'all the code to drop over here in YouTube land. So everybody has it over here. Un momento. Hopefully, I got L'Oreal and Braylon. I'm like an hour late over here. I had a couple things pop up real quick that I had to handle. So it is what it is. Okay, hold on. Let me turn. Oh no, y'all. I think I lost. I did. I left my pen with the stylus I like is upstairs. It's okay though. We'll get through it out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I'll be able to make it happen. No, y'all, let me turn this on. Okay. Boo, 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 boo. Did it do it? I think it did it. Okay, y'all. So yesterday we actually broke down the geniusness of the Strawberry Letter Live. Hey Rachel, what's going on? We broke down the points of deflection, right? We broke down the areas of humanization. We broke down how they masterfully created like a other or an enemy as a group. And how at the end of the day, I think all of us, at least on our side, we agreed that there wasn't anything super terrible that was said about Marjorie or Steve. So the fact that Shirley spent the Strawberry Letter apologizing to Steve and Marjorie was genius. I know it upset a lot of you guys, but it was really genius from a marketing perspective. And they have now given Shirley Strawberry the opportunity to pivot and really take the ball and take off running and collect a big bag. So we're going to go through some of the questions, but before we get into actually, we're not even going to go through the questions tonight. I wanted to talk a bit about asset protection for the men and the women who've acquired something in here, because y'all are targets, whether you want to hear that or not. Okay. And we tend to have a lot of women who become very successful, as far as like financial means, career accolades, those sorts of types of things, but they really struggle in the areas of love. Why can't look, I'm over here struggling right now, trying to size this. There we go. Hey Sherry, what's going on, girl? I know we pulling a late night. But I didn't want to be one of those people that's like, yeah, I'm coming back. And then I never came back. I don't want to do that to y'all. Oh, snap. I forgot about this. And thank you everybody who y'all helped me win my first live battle tonight. That was really exciting. That was a lot of fun. I never had a live battle before. So I appreciate you guys for making me victorious fresh out the gate. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. Hey Braylon. It was 7:30, 8:30, but I sent out an email, Braylon, to let everybody know I was coming on later. So I had a couple of my clients call me today with emergencies. So y'all know how it goes. I got to take care of my people now. So anyway, they trump a live stream. Real talk, no disrespect to any of y'all, but my clients that are paying clients, yes, they get put in front of y'all. So anyway, I had to handle that. So I didn't even do my initial stream where we talked about kind of low hanging fruit with the sales and putting out the sales model that you guys should be using so that you can convert automatically. Um, through like the emails, the comments, DM, using mini chat, how you wanted to actually bust down your ads and then the retargeting. I didn't even get on to do that until 7:30. And then after I finished that, I went over to the Uncomfortable Truth on YouTube, because I told my friend I was gonna be there. I missed last week because I was driving back from Charlotte, and I was like, I will be there next week. So as soon as I got done over there, I went to his show on YouTube. Then, I had to help my mama out with a couple things, so that put me back into not getting here until now. But everything I had planned this morning pretty much went out the window because, like I said, and I hope you guys, hey Riri, I hope you guys would understand that somebody's clients, especially a paying client, is going to come before a live stream. So I'm not a full-time content creator like a lot of people y'all are used to. I know that I have the platform and the follower count of a full-time content creator, but that's just because I'm good at my job. Now I'm transitioning over. I mean, I'm never going to abandon my business completely. I'll probably always still do something in events, and I always do something in business development, but I'm definitely in the process of transitioning. Some of you guys that are watching me, y'all know what I'm doing. Hey, real estate diva, what's going on? Baby, I am doing okay. The day is daying. But anywho, long story long. Um, I run businesses during the day. So social media isn't my business, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Like if you're wanting to be an influencer or a public figure, social media is your primary business. It's not my primary business. Like I use social media to market, but as far as like me wanting to make a living from brand deals and stuff, all of that is just like icing on the cake for me. And it makes me really nervous to put that much power into somebody's hand, because right now, if somebody canceled me, because y'all know I'm very opinionated and I'm very firm in my beliefs, right? So if somebody decided that they wanted to cancel me, I'm good. Like I still have my clients, I still have my business, I still have people to purchase my products, right? And support what I have going on. When you put yourself in a position where you're a true influencer and you're making your money from the brand deals, you you can say the wrong thing and get canceled, and you will end up out here in the poorhouse. And I think all of us have seen that happen, time and time and time again, right? There was somebody that was on the track up, and all of a sudden they said the wrong thing, they did the wrong thing, right? That happened, and boom, out of nowhere, then they were out here on OnlyFans. So yeah. Yes. So life was lifing for a couple of my clients this morning. So I had to take care of them. So when I thought that I would be on doing strategy this morning, I ended up not doing that until like the 7:30 spot. So I had to push this back. And he said, baby, okay, but let's get into it. Y'all know the deal. Go ahead and send the request. I think I did a good recap of yesterday. You move maker said, wow. It's okay, Braylon. Here's y'all's link. So if y'all want to come, pull up on me on the YouTube side, but we're gonna talk about it because the reality of the situation is this seems to be happening over and over and over again with very successful women, getting into, hey L'Oreal, what's going on, love? Getting to a state where they're older in life and they seem to be settling for almost anything. I mean, at this point, you might as well be with a lump of dirt if you're gonna be with Ernest. Like, just real talk, y'all. When the charges are nuts, the charges are insane. Hold on, let me pull them up so I'm accurate, because these charges, they're crazy, like to the max crazy. I think there's 5 counts against children. There's like 10 or 11 counts of conspiracy, felony. There's a grape charge. I mean, there's a lot going on. Okay. This is beyond somebody. Uh, this is beyond somebody getting to a point where they've made a mistake or two in their life and they're reformed. This man is not reformed. And I think there's like a 10 or maybe 12 year um age gap between them, if I'm not mistaken. So, um, is Marjorie or Steve good? What do you mean by is Marjorie or Steve good? What does that mean? Do you mean like are they physically okay? Is that what you mean? You said women get with men for the wrong reason. Elaborate on that. Cause y'all will say anything in the comments. Cause y'all are keyboard thugs. Y'all be out here cyber thugging behind the keyboard. Y'all like to do that, but y'all don't want to put a face face to your madness. Um, yeah, he has a couple of sodomy charges on him as well. As I said, it's a long rap sheet. Also illegal operation of a credit repair company, um, sawed off shotgun, bad checks, bank fraud. So yeah, it's a lot going on out here in these streets. A lot going on, a lot going on. Let's see.
I had a question. Was the house that she living in currently, was that in both their names?
So the house that they were in, apparently, so there was one that was owned and it was in both of their names, and they did a quick deed in February of this year of that property, and then she sold it. So that was February of this year, and then the house that they were living in was a rental, and that was behind on rent like $39,000, and they tied that to credit card fraud, which is pretty much what opened the gate on all of this.
Oh wow. That was the house that Shirley lived in, or the side chick?
Both of them, they were
Oh
living
wow.
they were living next door to each other, even though Shirley said in the call that she had no idea who Erica was. And I will say this, maybe Shirley is crazy like a fox. And what I mean by that, maybe she said, I'm gonna put in this months of work. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know who any of these people are, just so she can be able to distance herself and walk away with clean hands, because I thought it was interesting in one of those phone calls from prison. She's asking about Erica, and she's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, this woman was your next door neighbor. And Ernest was running the business scheme with her where they scam people for over $1 million. And she was like, I don't know who it is. I don't know. So then I said, well, maybe Shirley is crazy like a fox. And maybe she's just playing like she's a ditz, but she's really not a ditz. And she was doing that so that way she'd be able to exonerate herself, maybe. Who is Sonia? Sonia is the side chick that he's having the phone calls with. The one that he basically was like, send me a picture of your new breast. But y'all know how he said it. The one that he told her if it gets hot to pat it, that's Sonia.
Hey, feminine millionaire, how
Hey
you doing this
Riri.
evening?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Let me tell you something. That skin is glistening. That skin is glistening.
Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
girl. I got a
Well, what
vitamin.
do you
I
think,
got a
gentlemen?
vitamin infusion today.
Hey, baby, ain't nothing wrong with a little vitamin A, B, C, D, whatever it is you need. It all works.
Yes.
It does what it does. But hey, y'all, check this out.
My girl.
I am one of the best minds in the world for the
You
feminine
are.
millionaire. So I think, you know what I'm saying? And I got a knock joke for y'all tonight. Let me tell you. I mean, it's a knock joke. Let me
Oh
tell you.
girl, I can't wait. I love the knock jokes.
So what I need y'all to do is tap that screen for me. Yes, at least it's 163 in here plus. And when y'all tap the screen, as you continue to tap, you'll see this little bar come up at the top, right up under the feminine at the top. And just tap it until the bar, gets all the way completely full.
Mm-hmm.
That don't take nothing about 10 seconds.
10
All of us can
seconds.
do that. You know what I'm
Tickety,
saying?
tickety, tap,
And,
tap.
and
Hi,
like I said,
Gemini.
for all us out here, the news that you can use and the way she getting it to us, it's so styling, it's so profiling, it's classy, yet sassy, and it's never trashy.
Hi,
So come
me
on,
up
y'all.
there, Riri.
I mean, so y'all, that's the least. It don't cost you nothing to tap that screen. And as y'all tap the screen, if y'all don't mind, will y'all send out some, also send this out to somebody because somebody needs to hear this. Because regardless if they're famous or not, they still are people. But at the same token, we really do need to know what's going on in our community and be aware of some of the things that are going on in our community.
Well, we
'Cause
need
it's
to
some
make sure
scamming
we're
and some
not out here
scamming
getting
going on.
scammed. But real talk, a lot of ladies, a lot of men and ladies right now, especially if you're over 35, you've accumulated some type of asset in your life. You know, maybe you have a home, maybe you have a good retirement plan, maybe you have an insurance policy, you know, maybe you inherited, you know, something. And so I'll be honest, I think people who have accumulated something, sometimes they don't see themselves as successful because they may not be at like millionaire status, but you're still successful. And the reality of the situation is you're a mark, right? And if I'm being honest, you know, we hear these crazy stories. Hey, AP, what's going on, gorgeous? If I'm being honest, we hear these crazy stories about, you know, men and women that are being taken advantage of. And I'm not sure if we don't hear as much of the stories about men because men are more private. And so, you know, it may be a bit more embarrassing for them compared to compared to women, right? Where we hear this. But I'm gonna say something, and I'm not meaning this to be offensive. But I do want you guys to think about this. For all of these women that have it going on and have all of these degrees and all of these accolades, and you have all of these businesses, how are you able to get scammed and, you know, get scammed and get taken advantage of by men that you claim are idiots? Like, make it make sense. Like, which one is it? Right? Which one is it? Like that's the reality of the situation. Are the men idiots or are you an idiot? Right? Because you hear this all the time of them constantly, women constantly saying how men are stupid and, you know, oh, I have this degree, he doesn't have that, and all of these sorts of types of things, but yet they're out here getting taken advantage of on a regular basis.
You said something, but you know what? See, the men, they not showing all their cards that they being dealt.
Wanda said, "Don't laugh. It can happen." How, Wanda? How's it going to happen if you don't allow it to happen? By the way, y'all, we're doing sound off. So if any of you guys want to pull up in the box, you can pull on up and you can send a request. Okay. We're not doing a structured show tonight. Y'all know I had very structured content last night. We're real loose with the content tonight. Okay. This is strictly conversational. And I don't like it when people are like, oh, it can happen. Well, how exactly is it happening? So when we were at Accelerate, we did a ask a woman and ask a man, right? And all of the women were wives and all of the men were husbands that we had up on the panel. And Tay was like very candid because I asked the men, you said, so is that supposed to be funny? It is funny because y'all sit on the internet and y'all talk trash all the time about how men aren't this and men aren't that and women are doing this and that and we're outperforming them. But yet then y'all turn around and y'all are crying about becoming baby mamas or a man not taking care of you or lying to you or cheating on you, or in this situation with Shirley Strawberry, she's lost everything. We're not going to act like she hasn't spent decades on the radio, right, telling people what to do in their relationships and their situations. So if you're offended by it, pull up, say it to my face, say it on the camera. If not, I won't hear it, because at the end of the day, like, we have to start making sense of things. So Tate was basically describing that there are a lot of women that men see as meal tickets. Well, not men. We're gonna say males. Okay, I want to make a clear distinction. There's a big distinction between a male and a man. But he said, and even he said back in the day, if he didn't want anything serious, I'm gonna bring you up, Gemini. He said back in the day, if he didn't want anything serious, he said he would find a woman that was 30 plus, that was successful, you know, travel, had a nice car, had her house, had everything together, because he knew it was going to be easy to have physical intimacy with her, and it would be easy for him to move around because of the mindset of women that typically fall in that category. So this is the thing. Like, women, we can get upset about this all that we want to, but there's a lot of men that understand, if you're a woman that fits a certain profile, that there's a higher probability that it's going to be easier to gain you. So again, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Are the men idiots or not? Because y'all love to run around saying that they're idiots, but like, who's zooming who?
I love that you just said we have to start making sense of things. That is a word. That's a word right there.
Tap the screen if you're on TikTok, Lynn.
Go ahead, L'Oreal.
I feel like that's a word. You have to start making sense of things. A lot of times in relationships, you give people a pass on why things aren't quite making sense, and you plan and you lay it out like, well, maybe you give the benefit of the doubt more than, because sometimes you lead with your heart, but you have to use your mind. That is crazy that he sat up there and said that he sought after a woman with a house and a car and of a certain age because he knew the mindset of them. Like, that's dangerous.
That right, but he's not the only man that knows that. And one of the girls was there. She was like, I think 32 or something like that. And she asked the men for advice, and I was so happy that they told her the truth. But they flat out told her, that the guy that she was dealing with is probably looking at her as a meal ticket, because this man was talking about, oh, let's have a baby and do this and do that, and talking about marriage. But I think they have been dating off and on for over a year. And the first question that I asked those men when they got on the panel, I asked them how many of them knew that they wanted to be a husband before they found their wives. Every single one of them was like, yeah, I already knew. Then I asked each of the men, how long did it take them to figure out that their wife was their wife? All of them were pretty much like in under 90 days that they knew. Right.
Yeah.
And they had made a move, because again, we're not talking about people that are 19 and 20, right? Or 21 and 22. So a lot of women, we swear that we're so smart, but yet we stay getting played. So it's like, make it make sense. And then people get upset whenever we tell the truth, right? It's women in the comments right now that have smoke for me because they don't like what I said. But at the end of the day, we can't go through life arguing about what should be versus what is. So I'm genuinely asking, ladies, there are so many of us, right, that have acquired money, we've acquired success, we have big job titles, you're out here taking vacations, driving your big Benz or your big Beamer, floating around with your Gucci bag and your Chanel purse. Nothing wrong with that. I got Chanel and Gucci and Balmain and all that carrying on in my closet too. We have all this that's going on, but yet literally this woman is an example. She's lost everything behind a common criminal, real life. And I feel like me calling him a common criminal is like very polite, but Shirley Strawberry's story isn't an uncommon story. This isn't a tale that a lot of us, this is not like the first time we've ever heard of this happening before.
All right.
Okay, let me ask you this, feminine. I'm sorry to cut y'all off. I'm caught up on it a little bit. Can you, if you don't mind, will you let me know what's going on? But before you do, let me say this. This is something my brother told me, and Jim and I, let me know if this is correct or not. Now, just like you said, make it make sense. However, my brother told me this. If a woman, I'm gonna be what you want me to be, regardless of what I am. So if you sit up here and you want me to play that role, or you want me to act like I'm this, that, and the other, okay, so I'm gonna be there for you. But when it comes time for, like I said, sometimes people don't, because of the vulnerability, or they just want a woman want a man to be with them, they act like they don't see that this person is a scammer or this or that or the other. When they know good and goddamn well, they know some stuff we just know. So again, some my brother told me, okay, I'm gonna play this game you want me to play, but when it's time for me to play my turn, don't come up here acting like this, that, and the other, because you already knew what was going on with it. So I mean, I don't know how true that is, but that's what was said to me.
How you doing, Gemini?
I am well. Feminine, how are you tonight? And I'd love to answer your question. Thank you for having me up.
Yes, we love to hear your answer. I'm doing all right. Life is life, and today has been a day, but I'm not complaining, right? You don't ask God to eat and then complain when he puts a lot on your plate.
Indeed. Indeed, I just got back from the gym, about to have my nighttime tea, and I saw you, and I wanted to come in and just say hey, and then listen to the conversation. It gets very interesting.
Yes.
So there's a couple of things I want to say. One, let me answer Ria's question really quickly. Men will play a role, absolutely. They'll play a role because, again, the one thing that not only nature but society has set up that we want but can't get unless it is given to us is you. And if we take it, we can take it, but that's not proper, right? We know that's not right. And most of us will work within the bounds of the society that we live in. If this was something that was, if we were still back in a certain age, taking it wouldn't be a thing. So we don't even want to go there. We don't want to really talk about that one because, again, that's not acceptable now.
Correct.
One thing I would actually challenge women to do is to actually open yourself up to listen to and understand the men in your life, not necessarily your significant other, but the male friends, the quote unquote male friends that you have, start to understand what their motivations are. Ask them and really listen to what it is that they want. Start to really dig into character. One of the things that boys do growing up when we play games, we often choose our side in that game. Like when we play cops and robbers or whatever it is, we choose to be a good guy or a bad guy. And I think a lot of women don't deal with that choice. And because of how we've been socialized, a lot of women see I am either the damsel in distress that the bad guy took and the good guy has to rescue. But they may not always identify when they are actually the co-villain and they help the bad guys. So when it really comes down to it, sometimes we got to ask ourselves, are we the good guy? Are we the bad guy? Are we the protagonist, the antagonist? And I think when it comes down to how we are relating to each other, we're not getting on the same page because we got a lot of bad guys trying to get with good guys and good guys trying to get with bad guys. And they're just playing that role. And that goes for men and women.
Ooh. Now, first of all, Gemini, what you said was some real stuff, but I cannot not acknowledge the ladies are loving your voice. but I knew they would. I've already felt the effect of the Gemini boom. Okay. But the ladies that y'all can follow Gemini. Okay. He's a well thought out brother. He's very balanced. I was really happy to see him in the queue tonight because he offers a very solid perspective. And Gemini, while you were speaking over here in YouTube, James Franklin Jr. was basically co-signing and he said, amen, brother, because we men study women. And it's true. And I think a lot of women I think that they're shocked sometimes to understand that there are some men out here, like you said, they are villains, they are predators, they are studying you, they are watching you, they understand the mindset, the ideology, and mannerisms, and women are walking out there just like Bambi, in the middle of a field.
And I think, and again, there are some innocents, and then there are some that are not. There are some that wear the mask. And so, for instance, I'm not making any assumptions about Shirley Strawberry, but she saw this man, and if you look at the images of him, he is, quote unquote, the pretty boy. Back in the day, I remember when I was in high school and coming up, he got that S curl. He got that little S curl thing going on. And that was, you look, see, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You know what I'm talking about. And I ask sisters to be honest. The men that you're attracted to, I'm not saying anything about a woman's preference. I get it. All of us are not Adonises. All of us are not built like this and smooth like that and got the curly, wavy hair and all of these other things. But are you really looking at the character, the inside and out of this man? When I've heard women say, "Oh, you got to love what's on the inside of me. It's not just about my body." Is it? Well, are you looking at that with me, and are you actually showing what's really inside you?
That's true now, because a lot of women are very shallow and they don't want to admit that they're shallow. They want to lie and pretend like they're so deep, and it's like, no, girl, you're as deep as a mud puddle. Like, let's be real. And it gets a lot of women in trouble, right? A lot of times women are trying to paint men as the only shallow ones. Oh, they're so physical, they're so visual, this. Yeah, there are a lot of women. You're 100% accurate, Gemini. They're saying, oh, he's tall, he's dark, he has good skin, he's well manicured, right? He got the hair all wavy, he dresses nice, he smells like this, he drives this type of car. Like, we're not going to act like there aren't women out there who are willing to bypass a myriad of red flags because a man has a certain aesthetic.
I mean, think about it. You remember Disney Beauty and the Beast?
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy in the story was quite handsome, wasn't he?
Very, yeah.
Put together well and actually had some kind of status. But when it came down to it, it was the Beast who was the one, who was it. And yeah, he was dealing with some other stuff as well, but it took her to actually understand, it took Belle to understand that this is a man who's hurt, who's been through some things. He's got a curse on him, and I can lift it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she could have easily went with the bad guy and lived a different life. But
oh Lord, y'all tap that screen. Gemini just said something, and then he said something again. Just tap the screen. Golly, Lord have mercy. Bless you. You know what you remind me of, Gemini? You know that song by Barry White when it's "I'm Gonna Love You." You say "ooh," and he said in such that deep voice. No, y'all tap the screen. Y'all tap the screen if y'all are liking this live. This is a wonderful live going on so far. Like I said, this helps the algorithm. And even if you like somebody up here, and for no other person than if y'all don't like anybody else, show Feminine some love. Y'all send her some likes. Y'all send her some gifts. If she have a, do you have a thing up tonight that you're trying to reach a goal tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me turn it on. Thank you for reminding me.
Y'all show some love. Y'all send this live out. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we have an adult conversation here, but it's what they call that. I can't think of the word right now, but anyway, this is great commentary.
It is.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm sorry,
this?
Go ahead.
Oh no, so AP, how you doing this evening, girl? Good to see you.
I'm good. How you doing, Ashley?
I can't complain.
Me either. I didn't hear about the story with the lady. I was just really listening to y'all's conversation about men and women and
you want the Cliff Notes? Shirley Strawberry has been a co-host on the Steve Harvey.
Feminine. It's some people in the screen saying that they can't tap it. Y'all have to actually tap Ashley.
Oh yeah, you gotta tap. You gotta tap my little square. Tap my square, you guys.
Box. Sorry, y'all.
Try and tap my cheeks. So basically, Shirley Strawberry, she's pretty much gone her whole career for decades without any scandal, with no blemish. She had this segment on the show called The Strawberry Letter, where people would write in. She'd give relationship advice and say, this is what I would do, XYZ, element of P, okay? Amassed a bunch of fans on the show. She'd always talk about, when I get a husband and this and this and that and the third, right? So she definitely expressed that she had a desire to be married again. So then she marries this guy, Ernest Williams, 8 years ago. But Ernest is a active criminal, okay? This is not a situation where this is a man that had a past and he reformed. This man was still actively criminalizing these streets. So he started getting misdemeanors in the 80s. He upgraded to felonies by the time he got to the 2000s. He has grape charges on him. He has conspiracy charges against him. He was picked up with a sawed-off shotgun. There's bank fraud. There's 5 charges that have acts against children there. Her daughter is a victim. Her grandchildren are a victim. So yeah, Shirley also wrote a letter on Ernest's behalf, asking the judge, like, hey, let him out for the bond hearing. Then somebody releases their phone calls from prison. And we find out that Shirley has lost her car. Shirley also lost her ring because the $20,000 that Ernest used to put down on the ring actually was not his money. It was fraudulent. He stole $250,000 from somebody else. Ernest also has a business partner, Erica King. Him and Erica scammed people out of over $1 million, promising them business services and illegal credit repair.
And then I went ahead and got him
Cream Nation.
I got her. With business repair services, they also did fraudulent credit repair. He was renting a house for Shirley Strawberry and for Erica. That house ended up being about $39,000 behind on rent. So that ended up opening up an investigation and triggering a lot of the credit card fraud that was happening. Girl, it's just a lot. It's a lot that's been happening. He got locked up like a little bit after the 4th of July. He's been in jail this whole entire time. She was trying to keep it a secret. At this point, she cannot. So in the phone call, she did talk a little bit about Steve and Marjorie. She said Marjorie treats him like the help. Steve can't even get upstairs in his house without being winded, yada, yada, yada. So then they pop on the Steve Harvey morning show yesterday morning to have the Strawberry letter and address what's going on, but Shirley actually didn't address anything. She took the whole entire 3-hour show to apologize to Steve and Marjorie, which was brilliant, which we broke that down last night because it was an opportunity to pivot. And I felt that Steve Harvey was being a tremendous friend to Shirley Strawberry because he basically, said, look, I'm used to being under a microscope, and they allowed Shirley to not really address any of the things that are happening in her life, but instead for everyone to be focused again on Steve and Marjorie and their relationship. Oh, also throughout the phone calls from prison, we found out that there was a mistress in Florida. Her name apparently is Sonia. Ernest wants to see her titties and for her to send some pictures to him. And she told him, Ernest told her that if the thing get hot, to pat it. So there you go. That's the Cliff Notes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot, honey. And let me tell you, it's been working because the people response today, I guess it started last night. It worked. That strategy worked very well.
I told you what they were doing.
They are in an uproar and they hollering. I mean, I done heard so much stuff today. I'm like, what?
I want to pick real quick.
Go ahead, Gemini.
Where was her intuition?
So I was going to talk, because I guess the thing that irritates
You're a
me
little
about-
low, AP.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me a little better?
Oh yeah, way better.
So I think the thing that when I heard this now, the Cliff Notes, I think the thing that irritated me the most, and I find it funny what I'm about to say because I feel like men typically think women don't hold other women accountable, and it couldn't be further from the truth because I feel like we do. These are the types of things that women will sit around the table and talk about with each other, like how could she let this happen? Like we are pretty hard on each other. So with this, I think my biggest thing is her conspiring with him, like pretty much her just voluntarily, enabling him and pretty much partnering with him, because at this point I can't see myself in that situation and I don't know something funky is happening. Right. I can't. There's no way I would be able to look in the mirror and be like, No, I'm good. My man is straight. Everything is good. Everything's squeaky clean. We good. There's no way. Not all that you just said. No way. No way. 8 years ago, I married this man, and I didn't even know any remnants of that, of all he was capable of. That and harming my own. I couldn't imagine bringing trouble in my house to my own kids. So someone I birthed, someone I swore to myself I would protect for the rest of her life, because I know what that feels like. And I would vow to never have anything happen like that to her. And I just simply let it happen. Ain't no way. At some point, I chose myself over even my daughter and allowed that to happen. So I can't see how she missed any sign to let the devil walk through the door.
I mean, she didn't seem to know anything according to the phone calls, but I'm with you. I don't understand how you be married to somebody for 8 years. And I get you may not know everything, but like, no, but I started looking at her sideways when I saw that she was trying to talk her daughter out of filing the restraining order. And that she then wrote a letter for Ernest, hoping that he would get released on bond to her. Because she pretty much was like, I want to be anywhere that my man is. And at this point, that there were 11 other victims at that point in time when that happened.
No, I can't see myself ever getting to that point as a woman that I'm that hard pressed on my man. No.
You know, one key thing in those calls that had my eyebrows up too, though?
What?
The Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah, that he wanted to go.
Why would Steve let him go to Abu Dhabi, and why would you ask that if you don't know about any of these crimes?
He was right.
If neither you nor Steve, why would he offer this man to stay in Abu Dhabi? He don't even.
I don't think that Steve offered him. It seems like he was trying to convince Shirley to see if Steve would. Steve ain't crazy.
Because I'm like, you don't let people walk through your house, let alone that type of estate. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
So to Gemini's question, the intuition was there. She ignored it. I hate to speak for people too. I really do. But Ashley, you and I both know we would be looking at each other sideways. Like if we heard the story, we'd be like, this don't sound right. And yes, you did know. You're a man. You want to be up under your man that bad, and you tell me you don't know nothing's going on. As soon as something was going on, you didn't know. This is the problem that conflicts with women when they're so pressed on being up under their man. Then there is no I'm innocent or guilt-free from knowing whatever's going on with him. There is none of that because you're so hard pressed to be up under him. So you do know something's going on. Even with your own daughter, you're telling me with my own flesh and blood, I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know something happened.
She says she says she only speaks to her daughter when it's time for her to pay the rent.
That's
what I'm saying.
That's a whole parenting issue. That's a whole nuance to that. Then you already know that's terrible. That's a terrible mother-daughter relationship that they have.
Yeah, I have.
I may want my child.
Hey, Cream Nation. AA wants to know, Ashley, and in the comments, did the lady partner go to jail as well?
So Erica went to jail, but Erica has been out on bond. Erica was pretty much in and out, and then Erica showed up to the jail that Ernest was in initially before he got transferred, and she pretended to be an attorney to try and get him out. It's so zany. She tried to pretend to be an attorney to get him out. Okay, so Erica is clearly down for the crown. All right, she is down for the God. But I'm wondering if she may have rolled on Ernest or given up some type of information because, like I said, she was in and out of there. She's been roaming around freely. She has not been locked down for the past year the way Ernest has been.
No, for sure.
No, AA. and shout out to you. She was like, since Steve have all these millionaire friends, why didn't he just hook her up with one of them?
They may have not liked her. And so this is the thing with the hookup. You know, you can't really force a hookup with some people. Some people, they may look and they may say, okay, this is a business decision. This is a good move for us to be together. But I mean, it literally could have been a situation where maybe none of those men wanted Shirley. And that was one of my questions that was on here, not specifically pertaining to Shirley, but another with these women, right? These high value, high earning, I got it going on, you know, Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. I fly wherever I want to fly to. I do whatever I want to do because I'm a woman, but I'm the man. Well, if you're in the circle and you're in the proximity around all of these other men who are higher earners, right, who can contribute financially, they're cultured, they can travel as well too, you know, they big baller shot callers. Now, why are you having trouble landing one of those guys?
Can I just add from a man's perspective?
Go for it.
One of the things that I think is often missed, especially when it comes down to men married, is the creation of family. And I think a lot of women don't understand men's motivation in that aspect. You can be all of those things. You could be a great woman, but when I'm ready to marry, you can't give me my family. You can't give me my children. You can't do that. And yes, you may look fantastic. You body to die for. Absolutely. Face flawless. You're taking care of yourself, your skin well, but you're not going to reproduce me. And if I have to do all of these things to maintain you, and I'm still not going to be reproduced, I might as well go get the person who can.
What does that mean? So she wasn't giving him a child?
I don't think she was, because she's almost 70 and I think he's 57. So and they got married 8 years ago. So would it be like 60, I think 61 or so when they got married?
That's the same thing. I said AP. I didn't know she was
yeah, she's almost 70. Yeah.
I didn't know she was in the back seat while Jesus was driving.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Riri, stop that now. All of us are gonna age one day. All of us are gonna age. But that's what makes this worse, because she has the life experience and she has the time in. Y'all are saying she's 63. I think she was born in 54, I think.
She's 69.
Yeah, 69 too. Let's see.
So how old is the mistress?
I don't know how old.
Now that's a good question.
I know Sonya lives in Florida and she just got her breasts done. That's all I know about Sonya. I know that's how she sound. Her voice sounds like she's in her 30s, but I mean, they can be deceiving. Some people have very youthful vocal cords and vocal strings.
Intuition, Ashley. She in her 30s.
Can you still have a photo of her, Ashley? I mean, a feminine.
See, this is the reason I don't want to put out the photo of Sonya, because I'm not confident enough in the confirmation that is Sonya. And I personally would never want to mislabel a woman in that light. You know what I mean? Could you imagine how horrifying it'd be if the people on the internet pegged you as the side piece and you were indeed not the side piece? So until I'm 100% without a shadow of a doubt that the images that I have of Sonya are Sonya, I will not be putting up any images of Sonya, because she's still very mysterious.
Yes, ma'am. Cream Nation been waiting a while. How you doing, Cream Nation?
I'm all right, and you? I just want to know, all this time that he been messing with the mistress, where did she think he was
He was so okay. He had two legitimate businesses. He had a 24-hour barber salon where he serviced high profile clients. And then he had an unarmed security company. So if you need to hire security, you could hire them. So I'm assuming that, she assumed that he was at work. That's just what I'm assuming. I don't know. But if we were putting two and two together, I would think that that's what she thought he was doing all day and all night. I'm with Gemini. When it gets to female intuition, I feel like you feel something or know something ain't right with your man. But it seems to be that as women become more successful and they get a little bit older, it seems to be that their intuition isn't working the same anymore or something. And y'all, I'm not saying any of this stuff is a diss or a drag. I'm genuinely asking for conversation because we have to make some stuff make sense, right? We can't continue on living in the vein that we're living in, and you keep seeing high profile after high profile woman end up in these types of circumstances. So clearly, right, that means there's something that the ladies need to be shifting or recalibrating so that they're not continuing to end up in these types of circumstances.
Well, he must got gold and silver down there, because ain't no way. And my daughter, well, what about the daughter? The daughter say he tried to mess with her too?
The daughter definitely is a victim. The daughter actually did a restraining order in one of the phone calls from prison. Shirley and Ernest pretty much feel like he got the additional charges because of the daughter.
Well, I hope her mind changed.
And today they were saying that she didn't raise the daughter, the grandmother did. I don't know if that's true. But like I say, the folks is up in the uproar. It's going to be plenty of things.
It would make sense, because ideally, if you're a mom, a mother-daughter relationship is supposed to be exactly that, a mother-daughter relationship. So if it's not tight in any sense, if it's not close, then that's something she didn't cultivate over the years with her. So the daughter's not close. It doesn't sound like the daughter's close to her.
Okay, y'all. I didn't want to have to do this to y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't want to have to do it. Y'all
go ahead, Riri. Do it, girl.
Y'all. Let's get these likes up. Let's at least get it to 15,000 in the next 3 minutes, or I'm gonna have to cut the comments out.
No,
y'all don't make Riri cut the comments out because she'll do it.
People in here, get her likes up.
Y'all don't do this. If we was talking about some red hair, some blue hair, and some hair that I don't even know how to pronounce the color of the hair, it'd be at 100,000 right now. But we have a good commentary and nothing, just absolutely nothing, just nothing.
Well, it's
the feminine millionaire.
Oh, you just keep on talking. They're gonna tap it.
You are watching the feminine millionaire on TikTok after dark. Make sure you hit the like, you tap the
Lord Jesus blesses my mom. And no disrespect to you and all that, because I don't even be, I ain't like that, but now that voice, let me tell you something. It just make my leg voice.
It's not even you, Gemini. It's just your voice.
I'm about to hire Gemini to do some voiceovers, to do some drops for a profit planner or something. Let's see what happens. People are like, who is that?
Hey, I am hoping for it. But again,
I was about
in the screen, keep having the live, share the live. Go ahead and make sure you gift everyone up on the panel.
Yes, please gift the panelists. Please gift the panelists.
Oh, tell them,
all right, we need to get to 15,000 likes, so let's go, people.
Tell them,
I was about to say that sounds like a radio voice over there. Well done to that brother over there. Much love to you. Hey, everybody. Good to see all you.
Hey,
Ashley, and much love to you, Queen. And listen, you are all good. Life happens. I'm glad to be here. I do want to go back to that point of what the brother with the radio voice said about family. I think in those phone calls, I did hear a disjointing of family. Growing up, I was in a family of 4, and there was a conversation that me and my dad had of, bro, you're going to have to move out. I'm like, huh? Yeah, you're going to have to move out. And for the first time, it was a family of 1, not a family of 4. To the brother's point, I think a lot of times in life, we come into any type of relationship, whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's relational, whatever the case is, we come into that relationship with our perspective of what family is. And so to me, from what it seemed like, these were two different people with two different versions of family. Because when you hear Ernesto saying "wow" all the damn time, I mean, it's I mean, at this point, it should just be a banned word, which is sad because it means excitement. But damn. But one pivotal part of the call was when it was Fox 5, and that Ernesto was like, "Have you seen it yet?" And he also said, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Excuse me, are you asking your wife is she good with her man being on a local TV station with her man's business out there, and you can't be there to support her?" What? I mean, I'm 29, single, and know that's stupid.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
shocking.
what is wrong with you?
He didn't support her in anything.
No.
I think I felt the saddest for her when she was talking about how they came to take her ring that day.
Yeah,
They came
absolutely.
to take her car. And they did it while she was at the hair salon. So that had to be embarrassing. Like she's in front of people. The police are out there. You know what I mean? They have her blocked. She says that they had her blocked in so she couldn't go anywhere. So they could take the car. And he was just like, he was so careful. He was like, "Oh, you can start over." What? Oh, what?
Yeah, and that's what I mean, Ashley, that there was a disjointing of the perspective of family. And that's not to say that wasn't right, but I will say this: even though Shirley was very disjointed about the family that she had with Ernesto, I could tell from the phone call that she at least had a sense of family. And maybe because of this situation, her perspective on family devolved. But hey, all we can do is learn from our mistakes and move forward. But that's the biggest thing to that point, to the brother's point about family. There was definitely a disjointing of the mindset of family for sure, and responsibility.
So what I really want to know from you all though, when women are getting to a certain level of success, right? Because a lot of times you date based on proximity. What do we think is the disconnect that's stopping so many of our successful sisters from being able to find a good partner? You know what I mean? A decent partner. I'm talking about a man that's not out here committing sodomy and acts against children and having to stay away from puppies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is going on to where women then are getting to a point to where they feel like, well, I'll just take anybody because it's better than having nobody.
I want to say that only because it's been misused. And when we talk about the evolution of humanity and where we are today, as far as women being able to make certain amounts of money and having certain freedoms, that's actually what is stopping it. We live in this classist society where there are actually good matches for people based on the person that they are versus the wealth that they may have accumulated. Mm-hmm. And so because we live in a society that comes from women not having and depending on a man, to where now women have, they don't have to depend on a man, yet they still innately have this desire to have the man who is above them or can provide this lifestyle. We're missing that balance. If we're going to talk about women evolving to a new state where they can do these things, then they also must take on the onus of, I am the one who maintains this lifestyle. But there are other things in relationship and life that my significant other, my man, is going to balance out. And I think, honestly, that's one of the main issues that we see today, is that, yes, there is a bit more equality, but have you really taken on the responsibility of that equality?
Point. L'Oreal, what do you think?
I don't know. I just done got serenaded, child. I'm stuck.
She making you look great. Just
It was the realness for me.
girl, you are silly.
That was utterly hilarious, Laurel. I'm here for the energy. That was great. That was genuinely great.
Lord, I'm
God.
stuck. I don't know, child. I mean, he's right about it, but
I have a totally different answer than Gemini. Totally different answer. Cream Nation, what do you think?
I don't know. In this situation, I just think she's an older lady. She liked what he was giving her at night or whenever they was doing whatever they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She want to be loved. She want to be loved. She older. She's 69 years old. She wants someone to rock out the rest of her life with. So she gonna put up with whatever she gonna put up with, and that's what she did.
She said
She made
you
him
said
do
she wanted him to put it on a
She made him
plate.
want to burn everything.
Okay. Cream Nation said he was out here dropping it off.
He was. I couldn't ignore all of those signs, and I couldn't ignore all the stuff he was doing. I would have to know something, even like you said, the intuition. She ignored the intuition. She didn't want to believe her daughter. So her mind was gone. There was nothing that you, me, her friend, Steve, or anybody can say. And I'm pretty sure Steve done told her a little glimpse, man, your husband is, I'm telling you, he's doing it. But she loved him too much.
Mm.
She lost her way in him.
She definitely lost her way, for sure.
Mm-hmm. She lost her way. But I got to go. But it was nice being up here. And
thank you, Cream Nation, for coming up. I appreciate it. Braylon.
Have a good night, Cream Nation.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
One thing to say before I go.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a YouTuber. I don't know who all you talk about. So it's just, can you look up the YouTuber? Her name is Ruby Frank with an E at the end.
Is that the one that they that went into the cult?
No, that's the one that was treating her kids bad and tying them up, and the little boy snuck out the window and went to the neighbor house, and they called the police, and she ended up getting arrested. And on her channel, I guess I didn't look all the way into it, but this is what I looked up. So she was known for her controversy parenting skills. Like, the kids was hungry, and she making all this money on YouTube, and your kids hungry.
Oh gosh,
that is crazy.
Yeah, that is. I'm about to look into that. It's disturbing. My word.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that is mad crazy. Well, look into it, but I'm gonna keep my note. I'll be back tomorrow. What time do you usually come on here?
It just varies. Like tonight, I thought that I would be covering what we're going over right now by 7:30, 8:30. But the way my day shook out, I didn't pop on here until about 10 o'clock. So
okay, so I'll look for the notifications then. You'll be on here tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sweetie. Well, y'all have a good night, everybody.
You too.
Good night.
Braylon, why do you think these women are in proximity with powerful men, handsome men that are not criminals, but yet they're struggling to land these men? What do we think is going on?
Yeah, I gotta come on camera for this one. Listen. No, you know what it is? You said something last night, Ashley Ann. You said that when you got with your king, with your husband, that you asked him, hey, do you really want to do this? Because if you get with me, there are things that come with me. And so to that point, I think maybe one of the things is not looking at the resources that they have as an individual by themselves first before entering into a relationship. Because I would assume during that courtship, down south is called courtship, y'all. Okay, just for a little context. You got to know who he was as a person, and you got to see what resources he had to handle himself as a person before you allowed yourself to give your resources to come together with him. So I think that's something that sometimes we don't do, is take inventory of the resources we have to make something work. Because sometimes we feel, okay, well, I live here, in this state. You live here in this state. You have a car. I have a car. You got a job. I got a job. Okay, that's basic. Do I have the mental resources? Do I have the emotional resources? Do I have enough resources to give you space for me to want you in my space? So I think it's inventory of resources from my point of view.
Okay. AP, what you think, girl?
I honestly think she just gave up on herself. I don't think there's something that just screams she didn't want to.
Oh, you cut out, AP.
Hello.
There you go. You're back.
I think she just honestly gave up on herself. It seems like she just didn't want to try anymore. She didn't want to put the effort or wait. And it was just too, something told her she just couldn't pass it up. The discipline was real low when it came to just passing up on him, or with quality assurance. But she just chose not to. So I think she just really gave up on herself, really. And from there, just everything else came crumbling down. Now is everything's, loneliness. Exactly. I think that loneliness will get you it will get the best of you. And I think she really let it just overcome her and overwhelm her. I don't know if you saw that movie Acrimonium. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Where she let it take over her jealousy, her guilt of not keeping that marriage or doing all she could, I guess, to support her husband. And she just let it come over her to where it just controlled her and just turned her into a whole other person. I don't think that was meant for her to be like this, who she is today, and the decision she's made. But here we are. So I think she just gave up on herself, really.
What do you think, Riri? Why do you think all of these successful women are having trouble while they're struggling with finding partners? Well, let me be clear, husbands. We ain't gonna get into a partner. Why they struggling with finding a husband?
It starts with self. Nobody can make you happy. First of all, you have to be happy within yourself. Now, of course, that comes along with it. You get that love of your life, and whoever, he's just going to add to your happiness, but no one can do that for you. Regardless sometimes of how rich and famous, people are, a lot of them deal with, their own little silent battles. It could be insecurities, it could be depression, it can be this, that, or the other, that none of us know about. Just like, look at how all this stuff is going on with Cheryl Strawberry. If you just look at her, it's like it don't make any sense. So is it something that I understand the loneliness? I understand, even with the guy, okay, he wasn't cracked up to be what she thought he was going to become for her. But really and truly, what's going on with her? You know what I'm saying? Again, your joy starts. No one can give you joy and peace. That starts with you. That's my answer. And like I said, you just know you don't have any idea what a person is going on.
I have a totally different answer than all of y'all. Women are full of crap, and a lot of times when they get to a certain position or a certain title, they're dating for status, and because they're more concerned about what their friends and what their neighbors are going to say, they're not matching to a good person. That's what I think it is, because I've seen a lot of these women, they want a man to almost basically be Jesus. And I'm saying this having gone on vacations with them, having hosted several of them in my home, having done leadership courses with them, having to come in and instruct them and help them build their businesses. A lot of them are obsessed with an image of a power couple. A lot of them are obsessed with the idea of hypergamy all the time. A lot of them are obsessed with a man's job title. So I give you an example, and I'm not going to put her name out, but she's very, very popular, has a lot of notoriety, doing a bunch, beautiful girl, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful body, very successful, all of that good stuff. And she had asked me, would I date a Uber driver? And I said, well, it depends, you know what I'm saying, on why he's driving Uber. I said, I would have questions, you know what I'm saying? But I can't necessarily just count the man out because he's an Uber driver. Like, is he driving Uber because, you know, he's trying to get extra money to put into an IUL policy or buy a property? Is he driving Uber because he's trying to open up, you know, a counter company in tech, a counter ride sharing platform or something, and he wants to research it and see how it works? I don't know. I try not to judge people, and a lot of y'all know by me and my conversation, anybody will tell y'all that's ever met me, I can make friends with a rock. I don't really think too much of myself, not meaning that I don't have good self-esteem, but I don't feel like I'm above, you know, any other human being just because I've managed to amass a large sum of money. Okay. So I asked her, would she date a farmer? And she was like, oh no, like, what would I have in common with a farmer? Are we going to talk about potatoes or this or this or that? And she immediately turned her nose down, not knowing that my client is a farmer and this man makes about $14 million a year. It is a generational farmer. They farm and send their crops and produce to the grocery store. Then my other client is a cannabis farmer, right? And he is out here buku's money, and they just finished building like a 65,000 square foot facility, right? But it was the status thing, and she turned her nose up at it. And then once I broke down, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, no. And she, oh, well, you can hook me up with him? Absolutely not. I will not hook you up with him because I know you're not even interested in getting to know this man. You immediately look down your nose at him because I said he was a farmer, and in your head you pictured a guy like in some overalls with a pitchfork, and sometimes that may be what he looks like if he's out there with the team. But this man makes $14 to $15 million a year. Right. And she immediately, well, what would I have in common? And I was like, well, what? And before I told her how much he made, I said, well, what type of man do you think you owe? You know, a lawyer or this or that or blah, 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 blah. So a lot of it is them dating, or marrying or mate selection based on what other people think instead of what's really going to make them happy. And sometimes if you have a dark heart or if you have dark energy, a lot of men aren't attracted to that. A lot of men are, in my experience, as a woman that gets hit on by men, they seem to be more attracted to light. They seem, right? Like, I'm a pretty girl, but I'm a statuesque girl, right? I'm normally always the bigger one. And I've had a lot of hate coming from other women because they feel like because of their body aesthetic, right, that they should be more deserving of me. But yet I'm always able to get the men that they desire. And part of it is because of, like, yeah, I'm a pretty girl. I'm a Zoftic, you know, type figure, voluptuous. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I have a beautiful heart. I have a beautiful spirit. I'm not a person that's looking down on someone, right, because of his title or his job or his demeanor. And I really do feel like energetically men can pick up on that, and that makes me desirable to a lot of men.
And that's facts. That's facts.
That is that's very facts.
I think with Shirley though, if you were a man dating her and you saw the dynamic between her and her children, that would be a major no for me. So again, I'm just saying it's the same way like you dating a guy and he don't show up for his kids. Like
how Gemini was talking about, can you see family? Can I see myself?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's an old saying of, you know, how you'll treat your mom is how you treat me. And sometimes I think the reasons why we block our own blessings is honestly because of how responsible or irresponsible we are with responsibilities. You know what I mean? Sometimes people have lost opportunities, not because they wasn't dressed right, but because of their attitude. Mm-hmm. And by the way, can we just have this on the record? Big girls rule the world, damn it. Okay. So just want that to be very said. Jill Scott is queen. You come for her, you come for me. That's off topic, but that's neither here nor there. So anyway, just wanted that to be cleared up. But anyway.
Let me ask you, Sebastian. So do you think they match energies?
I don't think that they match energies. I think what I see happen with a lot of older women, and I was on Mark's show tonight, and a woman got very offended by me saying this, but it's what I've seen in a professional setting. And y'all got to remember, I speak to thousands of people, you know what I'm saying? Like a week. I'm speaking to way more people than the regular human, than the average human being. A lot of women, they get older, they start getting lonely, they start getting fearful, they start dating based on a time clock. And so a lot of their standards will lower. And I think they also start to replay a lot of the good men that they've passed up on. And it is a lot harder. I'm not saying it's impossible at 60 or 70 to find love. You know, anything's possible, but is the probability really there? You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna find somebody that's ready to marry and, you know, have a life with you. Again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you definitely have cut down your potential for that to happen. And I see women getting to a certain age and like literally having nervous breakdowns and emotional breakdowns because they put all of this effort into getting the money, getting the car, getting the fabulous condo, or whatever it is that they have going on. And they've put all this work into it and they got there, and then you get there and what's there? Right? It's not what they expected. And they haven't really done a good job of cultivating relationships. Marilyn said, OMG, that is me. Which part is you, Marilyn? Which part? Right, Lady O said nothing.
Kevin Samuels made him nervous because he said that window was between what and what.
The wall. Now, see, I don't necessarily agree with Kevin Samuels and the wall because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some 45, 50-year-old women baddies, okay, bad to the bone, and they have men falling all over themselves for them. But again, they have a energy too. It's an energetic thing. Gemini, give me some feedback on what I said, because as I said, I'm way opposite of you, brother. I would love to hear. I heard from Braylon. We got another man on the panel, so I feel like we shouldn't be guessing or assuming what men are thinking or feeling. Speak on it.
Hey y'all, as Gemini talk, y'all tap the screen. I mean, just tap it fast too. Just tap it. just tap it. Just tap it to the bar, bro. I'm just saying, y'all just tap the screen. Let's just try to get up to 25,000 likes. I don't want to have to turn the comment out, but you know, y'all get a man of honor. I mean, Lord have mercy, y'all got the screen for me.
I honestly think that our takes were not that far off. The take that I had on the question and your answer, I think they're actually very similar. But you're absolutely right as far as men being able to see a little more of who you are easier, seeing it faster, seeing your energy faster. And I think it's not even understood how we move in that vein either. Because yes, you could be absolutely gorgeous. And when I read your energy, there's this talk of, you know, putting you in one of two categories. But yeah, absolutely. You could be drop dead gorgeous, and I read your energy and I'm like, there would be a headache. It would be fun that night, but it would be a headache after that. And so I'll keep it pushing, especially if I'm not in that place. If I'm in the place where I'm going to play, I'm going to play. And we can have all kinds of fun. Don't think this is serious. But yeah, we could have serious fun, but we're not going to be serious. But if I'm in a settling down place in my life, because again, you're not going to make me want to be a husband. I want to be a husband first. I'm a husband going into it. I'm just single. So you're not going to make me be that, because I'm usually going to mature into that on my own. But the older women, I've actually had to deal with it being, I'm not older, but I'm older than, I guess, what's hot right now.
No, you ain't. You the hot age. You the hot age. I don't care how old you are. With all due respect, I'm just saying.
Gemini, they in the comments asking, are you married?
I'm actually divorced. I am divorced. I got married when I was young. I got married when I was 24.
How old are you?
I am 40. 47.
We
Oh,
got
your DMs are about to be flooded,
to
bro.
bring Gemini back and have a show called Date Gemini. And we-
Yep,
I had to
exactly
bring,
right.
I had to
Exactly
bring
right.
Gemini out. Be
Y'all
like,
tap the screen though. Y'all tap the screen though. Y'all make sure y'all have Ashley and reach your life goals for the night. With the
oh
hand hearts, if y'all don't mind. Send us
my gosh. Marlene said, no, I'm
Talk about
interested in
something.
dating him.
I was just gonna say though, do you think that generations have changed, like getting married early with men, or men wanting to get married later on?
We'll let Braylon and Gemini answer that because they're the two men. Did you hear her question, Gemini?
Quite.
So she asked, and I'm gonna let Braylon answer first, and then I'll bring you in. So she asked, do you guys think that generations have changed as far as men wanting to get married later versus early now? Go ahead, Braylon.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's a great question, L'Oreal. I think that generations have changed. I mean, if you think about, for example, all the Black women who are entrepreneurs, they are recognizing their worth and their power that, the timeline of society and my timeline doesn't match up. And I've always have thought society doesn't give a damn about their rules anyway. They just put those in place to tell us what we should be focused on. But at the end of the day, your timeline, society timeline doesn't match up. So I think because the world has evolved with the power of entrepreneurship, the power of self-worth, and also knowing that at the end of the day, your capacity to be able to handle responsibility is different. I think it has changed with generations, recognizing that at the end of the day, because the world is more open, I can be more open with my options.
Okay. Gemini, what's your answer?
I do think that there has been a change. And it is due to technology as well, being able to see the world like you just said, like the brother just said, we now understand more what is expected of men because, and I find it strange, and I say it's changed because of technology, because back in the 60s, middle to lower class people were still able to get married. Back in the 50s, they were still able to marry because they worked within their means. They knew what they wanted, and they knew what they worked for. If you lived in an apartment, you wanted to get into a house. If you lived in a house, you wanted to get into a bigger house with more land. And you did that in a family, in a marriage. You were able to build. We've lost that community sense. And part of what we're not even understanding is that though we may be Americans in our minds, one of the things that we lose sight of is that our particular story in America has not allowed our men necessarily to be able to inherit the land and the property where they can start to build their own families. Like, if we look at how wealth is passed down, if every generation is starting from nothing, every generation is starting from a deficit, which is unfortunately something that has happened to our people here. Our boys, our young men aren't coming out of their families ready to start their own family, right? And so now that technology has given us the opportunity to see where other people are starting from and what's going to be needed, we have a greater sense of how finances are affecting our lives. I think the younger men understand I can't afford that yet. But we also haven't given them the idea of how to build that with someone from a young age. So yeah, I think it has changed, and unfortunately for the worst, because I think the longer we end up delaying marriage, the less likely it becomes in general.
I think I would agree with that. I think marriage is seen as something that on men, from men and women's perspective, that you should maybe wait a little bit longer. And I will say this, I don't okay. So when my mom and daddy got married, they were like 19, right? And it's beautiful. And they've been together for 40 years and built a life and built a family and all of that good stuff. However, I'm not sure in today's age if I would recommend somebody getting married at 19 or 20, because when you talk about technology, right? I think about I think about the access to other people, right? You're thinking about resources and what it takes to establish a family. I think other people are so available now, it makes it a lot more challenging for younger people to be marriage minded. It's like it's almost shoved in their face nonstop, and they're being told they're not normal if they don't want to swipe right all the time, right? Hookup culture is very prevalent, excuse me. And so I think people, men and women, maybe they feel like they got to try a lot of apples before they get to the banana. You know what I mean? Like it seems to be a bit of a different mindset. Then you have a lot of the younger women, they almost seem to view marriage as like slavery, as something that's going to hinder them, that's going to take away from their life. And when you talk to them about the idea of building with someone, they are disgusted by it. They literally, are out here basically saying, how dare you ask me to build with someone? How dare you, right, ask me to be with a man who doesn't have it all together? So that's the part that's very different. I think right now, not that there aren't some women out there that are still willing to say, come on, baby, let's get together and let's make something happen. But there's a growing population of women that are very anti-marriage, and they see it in a very negative light.
Agree with that. And in fact, I didn't mean just access to resources. And again, you took it kind of where I was intending, because yes, technology gives us access to people. All of this access to people gives us access to more information, whether it's understanding what other people have financially or, materially, which then can be a confused goal for some, versus understanding people's ideas and mentalities and dispositions on certain topics. So when men see that women don't like the idea of marriage, and that they see that they think that women think it's slavery, they think all these negative things, that also turns them off to it. When they see through technology, I'm going to use a man for what he got, I ain't really, concerned about him as a person, then yeah, well, where do I want to get married? So yeah, I absolutely agree. They do get access to people, and that also affects the decision-making process.
There are some women in the comments, they're saying that women don't trust men. They're saying we don't trust men. And that's interesting to me. Go ahead, AP.
So I'm in my 30s, right? So I will say this. My father was a military man. He married my mom. She was in the military. They married young. They were together 20 years before they divorced. My father was not a big proponent of marketing marriage to me. He was all about head on a swivel, go get your education, be successful. Like very much you are in control of your own destiny. Mm-hmm. You are your own business owner. You are your own entrepreneur. You don't need, like, he really thought he still thinks to this day, a lot of men out here, y'all are knuckleheads. That's what he would always say. So that's what I grew up under. But I still, as a woman, naturally wanted to, date and stuff but it wasn't something I was gunning for during college. I was very much about my studies and trying to figure out what I was going to do after college and making a plan and learning how to be independent and on my own. A man just wasn't a part of that necessarily until, began exploring, relationships and things like that. But even so, it wasn't like my parents revisited that topic of, okay, so when are you getting married? Like when I talk to my dad, it's never a follow-up on who you dating, it's nothing of that. We still talk about stocks and bonds, and he's very much it just wasn't that. So I think I don't want to say everybody else is like me, but I will say probably there's a lot of parents that may have learned and reflected back on how they did things and maybe not want that for their children, and so they steered them in a different direction. So I don't know. That's just my experience.
But that's a really interesting perspective, and I think that that's valid. That is true, and it depends on what type of family you come out of. Because my parents, they definitely, like, okay, we're looking for husbands, we're looking for wives. Y'all need to get married off. I remember Corey saying, an older gentleman that he was mentoring with. This is, I guess, when he was maybe like 32 or 33, like actually pulled him to the side and told him, men of a certain caliber don't take you seriously if you don't have a wife by the time you're at a certain age. His uncles even told him and his cousins, they were like, what are y'all doing? Like, yeah, y'all have had y'all fun. Y'all been out here. Like, are we going to see you guys get married? You need to have a wife. You need to have somebody that you can build a legacy and a family with. So you're correct, about different families steering or guiding the children into different ways. You're absolutely, that's what I said, it's a very, very valid point.
Yep, it really is. Now, do y'all think that other people of other color have this type of issues? Or it's prevalent in our community?
I'm going to say a no, but I don't have any research or data to back that up. I'm just going off of anecdotal experience and what I see. So the neighborhood that I live in is very, very culturally diverse. My neighbors to the right of me are Indian. My neighbors to the left are traditional Caucasians. The neighbors on the other side of that are Asians. The people across the street from me is another Black couple. The house over next to them is a white couple. 2 more houses up, we got 2 more sets of Indian families. So I live in a very, very diverse neighborhood. And so their children, especially because I'm down here in the South, a lot of people are still very marriage minded and family minded here. And so I see, like, it's all kinds of weddings going on in the summer, and you're going to these weddings, and the majority of them are pretty young people that are getting married and committing to the family and the idea of family and building together. I also noticed that a lot of them will live in multi-generational housing, or they'll gift the children with like their first home, or if they can't buy the first home, they'll pool in together and they'll say, here's $100,000 that you guys can put down on your house on a home together. So from looking at my neighbors, and just watching how they're moving as families and how they're putting resources together, it does seem to be something that's unique to us. But again, that's anecdotal. I don't have any like data or research to support that. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing on a daily basis.
Well, I can back that too. I went to an all-white church in school until I graduated high school. A lot of my friends are married that are Caucasian. They were married young too. So I'm probably one of the few out of the friends that is not married. And so, yeah, they all married. And a matter of fact, one of the pastor's wife, a Caucasian woman, said that the way, well, she told my mom at one point, like the way that, she was raised to date was to, date a lot of people until, you found a husband. And so my mom was totally like against that, I guess, culturally. She was like, that's what y'all do. We don't do that, dating everybody and stuff like that. She was not with that at all. So I remember that being some confliction for her. She didn't want her passing that over to me. Like, y'all ain't not over here just dating everybody. Because she didn't really know what that meant. To her, it just meant, I don't know, whatever, free for all. But for her culture, the woman's culture, they're white. They date a lot, and they date early, and they get, actually supported by their family to date, to learn how relationships work. But With Black households, I mean, I was shunned from dating. Like, it was not a thing. Like, you date till you get out the household, but we really not gonna show you how that's done. So then when you even get out, you don't have to figure it out for yourself. So.
And that's true. I've heard that from a lot of Black women. They're
Yeah.
like, nobody says this is how you date. And then all of a sudden they're like, you hit 30 and everybody's like, well, where's your husband at? And you're like, well, how
Like,
am I supposed to get one?
Right. Yeah. That's
like,
true.
you gonna figure it out. Like, well, how are we supposed to figure it out? And so I don't know. We don't. It's a freestyle.
Not the freestyle dating.
Dating and relationships are different. We see them differently and we treat them differently. We don't date in the more casual sense generally within our culture. It's really about, if we're quote unquote dating someone, we're serious about that person. It seems like almost from the door. We don't get, go on a date with a person, maybe go on 2 dates with a person, and then, hey, this is not going to work out. It's we done went out twice, we done went out 3 times. You my girl, you my man, and we're going from, and then we're conducting ourselves like marriages while we're in these relationships. Right. And then we get used to, all right, it's not working out, I'll break up. So when it comes down to marriage, we look at it with this sense of, well, if it's not going to work out, I can divorce because I'm used to it, because that's how I dated. That's how I conducted relationships. And again, we're not having the example of marriage and family building. We have this, unfortunately, we've developed this sense of a family is a woman and her children. But a woman doesn't have children unless there was a man to give her the children. Right. And
Come on now.
So when we're looking at it, dating becomes very mysterious, because the main part of this quote unquote family building, the one who initiates the marriage, the example of him for women and men is not often in our homes. And so,
yeah.
Did you say something, Marlene?
Yeah, I disagree with him. Like, Gemini, be serious. It's a woman that has the posture for marriage. And then the man says, within her, I see a woman that wants to marry. Because you can't take a woman who doesn't want to be married and say, oh, would you marry me? Her mindset is not there. When you look at a woman, you can tell a woman that is career driven, and you can tell a woman that wants to be married. They have that mindset. And I think like sometimes the problem is career women think when they decide to then want to be married, somehow they become marriage material. No. A lady who wants to be married, I'm telling you, like, it's something she's thought about for a very long time. It's in her, like her aunties, her mom, her grandma. This is just how they behave. Like, they're just wifely people. When they go places, they'll ask, hey, do you want something to drink? Is everybody okay? They have a way about themselves. They're usually not people who just think about themselves like.
That's true. We enjoy taking care of other people naturally. We like it. We actually like it. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to eat something? Are the baby's okay? Oh my gosh, when are you having a baby? There's something about these ladies.
Marlene, what's the voice again? Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Like, people need to be serious on these lives. Like, don't pander to Black women. Tell them the truth. Is that there are 2 psychologies. You have the consciousness of the career Black woman. Like, everywhere she goes, she's in boss mode. Like, she wants to control everybody. You know her. She don't want marriage. She on her own. She got her own money. She got her own car. Okay, sure, we get it. But then there's that other lady that you see. When you look at her, like, she's very soft. So you say to yourself, like, wow, there's something nice about her. Like, she's very gentle. She always asks about other people. She'll be like, oh my gosh, Gemini, how's your mother? How's church? How's everything? Like, she cares about people. So you're like, wow, I would love to marry her. Like, she's really pleasant. You understand, right? What I don't appreciate are people who are career driven. And then they get to a point and then they realize that, oh, wow, you know what? Degrees ain't enough. Oh, wow, like, I'm kind of alone. Hey, everybody's getting married. And now you say, oh, now I want marriage. I want marriage. But unfortunately for you, this is never a ministry that you had respect for. So you're fraudulent. You think saying you want marriage and, changing your clothes and, attending single ministries when you feel like it, because there's just nothing on your calendar, somehow people are not going to see through you. People will see through you. Be sincere. Not to AP.
Well, Marlene, I was going to say, can I be honest with you? I used to think it was because I never had a vision board when I was younger about getting married, which then made me like,
when you got messed up, your dad messed you up. Your dad caused you a huge prejudice. And the problem is, you see, daughters, we're attached to our dad. My dad did the same thing to me. You know what I mean? Boys are attached to their mom. Girls, we look up to our dads. And I think sometimes we don't understand that. It's really hard for our dads to let us go. It's really hard for them. I don't think young ladies understand. For your dad to, when your dad knows you found the one, he's like, oh wow, my baby girl's growing up. It's hard for him. If your dad says, if you say, oh, now you have a husband, and now you have a husband, like they say, you have to give your daughter away. Fathers have a hard time saying goodbye.
They do. I've only seen my daddy cry 2 times ever in my whole entire life. Once was when my grandma passed away, and then he cried at my wedding when we had our father and daughter dance. Because he understood, like, okay, my husband is now the number one man in my life and not him anymore. And everybody started crying. They were like, we ain't never seen Chief Keef cry. It's very, even my mama was telling them, wow.
I think like my dad probably settled into like me being married, like, because me and my husband had a rough patch. I was like, oh, divorce, because he wanted me back. My mom was like, boys, shut up. And I'm like, it's so funny how you sit next to your wife. You got your boo thing, she cooked for you, she cleaned for you, but you don't want to be somebody else's wife, right? Fathers, that's just what they do. It's not like he's intentional, like, oh, I don't want AP to be happy, right? The fathers are very territorial. They're very selfish. You're going to marry my daughter. You're going to smash my daughter. Because he knows what he does to your mom. He ain't silly. But he don't want somebody that does to his daughter. So he'll be like, oh, focus on studies, focus on school. You should definitely focus on school. But marriage matters because, Daddy, you got to realize one day you're not going to be here. One day God is going to call you back. If you leave me today, who do I have? What man do I have? So it's like he also needs to be serious and be like, and if God was to call me tomorrow, if God was to call me in 2 weeks from now, I need to make sure that she found her person. I need to make sure that I pass the mantle like, hey, you're going to be my son-in-law. I'm going to trust you. You're going to make mistakes. As long as I'm here, I'm going to do my best to help you get along with my daughter, because that's my daughter too. I know she can be a little crazy, but she's a good girl because I've raised her right. So that way, if God calls me back, I can say, you know what? I've done my part. She's not alone. But to sit here and be like, oh, I love my daughter so much. You don't need no man, daughter. Just go your degree. We die. Parents, they die. Grandparents will be gone. And then you'll look at yourself like, I don't have my dad is gone. My mom is gone. And it's just me. And it's going to be a lie. Because I have girlfriends who go through this. And I say, you
have clients that are going through that right now.
Yeah. And I said to her, your father calls you a huge prejudice. And he tells you not to be a wife, but he won't let go to his wife. He loves his wife. That's his best friend. He knows how he can lean on her, talk to her. There are things about your dad you haven't seen. But there are moments, I'm telling you, your mom was like, she was there for him. And he needed that feminine energy. So it's like, that's causing you prejudice, right? Now, when it comes to like, because I heard a few things. I'm just going to go through them real quick. When it comes to like Miss Shirley also like, she's not a victim feminine. This Ernesto dude, he was already in prison for violent crimes with violent weapons.
Oh yeah, I don't think she's a victim. That's what I said. I don't understand why she would choose this man.
Because she works with Steve Harvey. I think sometimes what females do, they compete without competing out loud. I think when you see Marjorie and her lifestyle with Steve, she wanted a man that could kind of make her feel the way Marjorie felt with Steve Harvey. That's why she was geeking about him over the phone, right? But the problem, she knew who Ernesto was. Ernesto's money, his ways. She knew the man was dishonest. But she thought she could overlook it. So then, like, even the lady he was messing with, the housing stuff, that lady lived right next door. When Chronicles Speak did a whole breakdown on YouTube, I said, but Miss Shirley, you're just as guilty. You wanted people to see you have a certain lifestyle with a very successful man, but you knew his money didn't make sense. You knew his paper didn't make sense. You knew nothing about this man didn't make sense. But then now that he's caught again, because the first time he gets convicted feminine, even if you think, oh, I want to give him credit, he was convicted by a jury of his peers.
That man been committing crimes since the 80s, like literally since before I was born.
Every time he goes to court, there is 12 random people who say you are a menace to society. So even if you think you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, 12 people on 4 different occasions said this dude is dangerous. So at least humble yourself and say, you know what, if 48 people think you're dangerous, like, you know what, maybe I need to stay away from you. So you got to check yourself. What about this man made you overlook the fact that he is low, like he has no integrity because you wanted to give people a certain appearance about your success? And the thing I didn't like about Miss Shirley was when she was first married, she was a career woman and her marriage went left. And when she got like her awakening to really be a housewife and to really work on her marriage, instead of calling her first husband to fix it, she's like, oh, now I'm gonna try harder, right? But you're gonna try harder with a fool. So it's like, no, take your stuff, own your stuff. Don't say all black men are bad, because Ernesto, he has a legitimate rap sheet. You saw that, you overlooked it, and that's why now you got to get collect calls from the prison. But you're not a victim. You're not scammed. You're just mad that you got exposed and it's embarrassing. That's different, right? Those are two different things. Saying like, oh, this is a hardworking man that I met versus someone that has an extensive, like Feminine said, since the 80s, he's been out of prison for violent crimes. When you're that rich and you are that successful with Steve Harvey, I'm sure you do background checks on people. So she's not going to sit here and say she didn't know who he was. She knew who he was. She saw the violent crimes. Like they're like AK-47s, like automatic weapons. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Sawed-off shotguns, sodomy charges, grape charges.
Imagine if you want your money and you say, no, he shoots you in your sleep. He's a dangerous man. So then to sit here and be like, oh, it's all black men. We don't have good men in the community. No, we have good men in the community and we have men that are incarcerated. It's just that some people love to go for ex-felons. Okay, if you don't trust the jury of the peers that they made the right decision and you think you know best, then go. But then when you get hurt or you get scammed, then you have to say, this is what I get for not taking heed. But Miss Shirley, she was warned. She was not scammed. Unless she's like scammed by her own stupidity, then that point, like, that's what it is. And then Gemini, you talk about like, oh, you're a husband, you move like a husband. But sir, I also need you to be honest, right? Even if you are divorced, I'm sure it's been a while since you've been divorced. You're now 47, you're single. And I'm sure also it's not like you're celibate, that you're consuming product out here. So if you're a husband, move like a husband, get remarried. Because when you say, oh, I'm married, but you're not married now, and you're consuming product without commitment, right? You're also part of the black men who add to the problem. If you're a man who values marriage, even if the first marriage didn't work out, go to therapy, see what didn't work out, take your part, take what your wife also did, your ex-wife did, and then moving forward, you seek another relationship. So that way, when you consume the product, is within the covenant of marriage.
Well, how do you know that he's not practicing celibacy or that he's not going to therapy or working on himself?
You heard what he said earlier. He said, "Yeah, I'm a smash, but it's gonna be a headache. I'm a smash." Like it's like.
Well, he was speaking in the context of the question that I asked him about when I talked about like the energy of a woman, and he was saying that he can meet a woman and he may say, "Well, yeah, I may partake and I may smash her, but I know that there's not a woman. She's going to be a headache. I know there's not a woman that I want to deal with." After. And so that could be a mindset that he was speaking to earlier in his life, or you're correct, it could be a current mindset right now, but I didn't take what he was saying as this is what I'm currently in right now. Gemini, would you like to respond? Because you're being called to the carpet, sir.
Absolutely could. But I actually wanted to let her finish. But okay. Again, it's very interesting that you made those assumptions about me, because those are assumptions. You don't know who I am. So yes, I actually do practice celibacy until I'm actually in a committed relationship. I'm going through a courtship process now. Now, as far as why I'm not remarried at this time, I've had a number of things. I don't think you're privy to everything within my life, but yeah, I have been that guy in my youth. In fact, right after my divorce, I went through a period of probably being that guy. But I've healed since then, and I've done a lot of work. Don't pander, please. Miss Marlene, I'm just gonna...
Marlene ready to tussle.
Miss Marlene, you're extremely rude and disrespectful by saying that to me. You don't know who I am at all, and I am not finished speaking, and you're being rude, and that's not very nice for you to do. You've actually been making assumptions. You've been accusing me of things that are not true.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all done made Riri say something up in it. Gemini, you finish? Marlene? then you go, because this is what we're not gonna do on this platform. We're not gonna overtalk people. We're gonna let everybody say what they say. And you know what? Thank y'all for respecting my gangster. But I need y'all to do this. Please tap the screen. Tap the screen, tap the screen. I do not want to cut these comments out because y'all down there in the comments doing y'all thing. And please, if y'all don't mind, tap the screen again, tap the screen. Feminine is at she's halfway at her life goal for the night. If y'all don't mind, she loves the hand hearts.
I do. That's so
Give
cute.
the hand hearts out. If y'all are enjoying this
Thank you.
live that we have going on, please share. I know it's a lot of people want to get in on this conversation, or you never know what you might learn something new tonight, or AKA today.
So I want to read this comment from YouTube. James Franklin says, I hear from my divorced male friends that it's difficult finding a woman who is wifey material. They often tell me, James, there ain't ish out here. One of my boys just got remarried after 15 years. They said it's hard out here in the streets. Hard out here for a pimp.
Feminine, it's not true. Once again,
it's not true.
For 15 years. So
wait.
You have a beautiful voice, Mr. Gemini. You have a beautiful voice. It's giving but it's beautiful. I get it. The tone is amazing. I love the baritone. My thing is, if he's been married for 15 years, right? He spent 15 years on a job. It didn't work out. If he went to therapy, if he went with his pastor, if he worked on himself, he should have come out this marriage saying what he could have done better, what she could have done better, what he did good, what she did good. You understand, right? And then when you go out there, you now can recognize, because you've been through it, you have experience, you can now recognize that, there are women out here, okay, this is what I want. You're better, because there are awesome Black women. When a man is jaded, when a man is bitter because maybe he's paying child support, he's paying alimony, maybe he has to give up the house, what he'll say is, like a lot of Black women do, he'll throw a blanket statement, oh, there ain't ish out here. That is a complete lie. Because one thing, the same way I want to allow Black women to defame all Black men, as a Black man too, you're not going to be allowed to defame all Black women. There are great Black women. Now, if she's also marriage material, right? She also knows what a husband is. And if you come out of your 15-year marriage and you're bitter and you're broken and you're financially, going through it, right? She also has the right to say your frequency is not that of a leader, because nobody's going to remarry a man that was divorced, who's been married before, right? Just so you can punish me for what your ex-wife did to you. No. You understand?
So what do you say to a man who is single, who has never been married? His money is right. He's a happy guy. He's floating around, right? And he's looking for a wife. And he feels that it's very slim pickings out there as well, because he doesn't have children. He doesn't have child support. He doesn't have, any type of relationship trauma. He's just out here looking for his queen to be. He's not super, free with his body out here in these streets. So he's not out here being a manhole. What do we say to those men that also say, I'm having a hard time?
Young sister yesterday on my other line, right? And she was like, oh, there ain't no good men out there. Oh, when I go on these dates with these men. And I said, it doesn't matter about these men or these women. You're looking for the right person, right? Mm-hmm. You can't tell me, America has over 300 million people. There's 46 million Black people. You cannot tell me that your person is not out there. You have to be focused on how you're looking for your person. If you are telling me that you are a man that wants to be married and you don't know where to look for a wife, I think you're not serious. You're not serious. Because if you want to look for a wife, that means if you say, oh, I want to get married, I'm looking for a wife, that means you should know. You should know what makes a woman a wife. Now, if you're you're Christian and you want to look for a wife based on how the Bible describes a wife, right? Then you know what to look for. So you can't tell me she's not out there. The problem is too, with some of these young men who claim to want marriage, they want sex first. Many of them want to try the thing. They want to try the box first. And then they want to decide if they want to commit to the box. People need to speak honestly.
I'm gonna disagree with you
No,
on that because, and
no.
I'm gonna say this because I was very selective. And are there a lot of men on paper that may have been a good husband for me? Yes, but if it wasn't chemistry or a connection, or I didn't feel like I, bought into their vision, or I felt like this man was gonna try and slow me down instead of support me, it wasn't a
But Feminine, you're
situation we
talking
can
about
build
yourself.
together.
You're a woman.
But
You
I'm
are
talking
a
about
woman.
even from a man. My husband,
but
my
the
my
thing is,
my husband was very clear with telling me that he had to look and search for me for a long time, and that it wasn't easy to find me. And my husband once he decided he wanted to be married, he spent 3 years looking for his wife, right, ready to attract her. And he made it very clear, because I would tell him, I tell him all the time that I'm blessed to have him, happy to have him. He says the same thing back about me. My husband is a very conventionally attractive man, 6 foot, 245, chocolate like an Adonis, plenty of money, no children, no prior marriages, no criminal history, engineer all the way up to the White House. But I'm just saying, we're not going to say, we can't sit here and say because a man won't take any woman that doesn't mean that he's not seriously looking for a wife. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't know where to look. Sometimes you may find people, y'all are great on paper, but y'all just aren't great for one another. And that doesn't mean that man or that woman isn't serious about finding their spouse.
You didn't hear what I said.
I definitely heard what you said. I just don't agree with what you said.
I said, no, you didn't hear what I said. I said, if a man said he is looking for a wife, do I say based on what you're looking for a wife? If you say you're looking for a wife based on your Christian faith, right? Then you should know what the Bible calls the woman that is of marriage, the virtuous woman. You should know what she looks like based on your faith. Now, if you have other standards for how you decide what a wife is, that's fine. But if you go off of your faith, and what your faith says to look for in a woman, right? You cannot sit here and say that is so hard to find. No.
It is, because there's lots of virtuous women out there, but that man may not have a connection with that woman just because she's a virtuous woman. He may not be physically attracted. Well, he may be not, but you can't sit here and say that a man or a woman should attach to someone that they're not physically attracted to, and physical intimacy is a big part of a marriage.
But hold on. Okay, can we go like point by point? Because sometimes you go like, when you say you want a wife, right? Sometimes also you might not always be attracted to your wife, because some people, like their taste buds have been ruined. Because to me, that's just me. Yes, attraction matters, but is attraction everything? Or do you also want someone's spirit first before you even have attraction? Like, we can also say that sometimes maybe the person was not like typical your attraction, but you learn to appreciate their beauty because there's something else deeper that resonates with you. Like, you, for example, you have a lot of people who have arranged marriages, organized marriages. They never even met, but somehow the marriage works. And sometimes it works even longer than people who have their own choice to make when it comes to finding their spouses.
But we don't live in a culture of arranged marriages, so that doesn't apply. So that doesn't apply. I don't care. I don't care what you're trying to say right now. I don't. We've been waiting on you to land the plane for about 20 minutes. Oh, please don't say I won't let you finish. You finished like 9 times, and actually, after the reset that Riri gave, Gemini was supposed to come back in, and you jumped in. Girl, go somewhere else and have a hissy fit. That's why the men are out here saying that you're the type of woman that repel men, that they're running from. Even over here in YouTube, they're saying you're masculine, that you're annoying, that you're judgmental. Like, baby, I don't care if you drop. Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots. Oh my God, you're not here to give a commentary. Ooh, I'm so sad. The show is over. Like, baby, stop.
That's the hard part. Said though, I'm like, that's hard to. What's the balance with that? Like, because that is an honest one there.
God wants you to be attracted to your spouse. That's the balance of that.
I could never really get over that hump. That's not something that's like, and I don't want to sound like I'm, like you said in the beginning, like when you say like immature in that aspect, but shoot, physical intimacy is a thing.
That's a thing. Go ahead, Gemini. Because he was really supposed to come back in, and she just took off, and he was being a gentleman and let her go on her tirade. But I'm sitting over here looking at the clock, and I'm like, okay, baby, this is never going to end. She's on a filibuster right now. I'm over it. I'm over it.
But before she came in, I do think we were hitting on a real valid point that it's not in our culture to really date. And we're not really told how to date. Like, you go on a couple dates, you go
Exactly.
together. You know, you're doing the thing. And the hookup culture is woo, child.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Like,
agreed.
you
Go
know,
ahead,
you
Gemini.
think
Hold
you're
on.
going on a date, it's a hookup.
Hold on. I want to hear from you, but I want to give Gemini an opportunity to speak, especially because she directly came for him several times. And y'all know
Absolutely.
I'm a fair person, but I don't appreciate anyone making any type of assumptions about someone. It would have been the same thing if Gemini started throwing out a bunch of negative assumptions about her, which he wouldn't, because that's not in his character. But if he did it, I would say, hey, Gemini, you know, you don't know that about her. So I don't like that. That's not the type of space that, you know, we like to be in. So that's why I immediately was like, hey, if somebody came in here and said something crazy about Braylon or AP, I would be like, no, wait a minute now. We don't know that about them. And it's very unfair for people to just come in and make these blazing disrespectful allegations.
True.
Thank you. I do appreciate that you actually caught all of that on the but you're some millionaire. You're actually you always catch things like this. I love your perspective on a lot of things.
Thank you.
So thank you again for letting me get this time though. I don't even want to go at Marlene. Not really. But it was very clear. I actually, looking at her picture, I would find her physically attractive. But all of that energy is like, no, I can't. Because you made assumptions about me and then made me out to be a liar. You distrusted me for whatever reason, and I'm giving you none. I try to be as honest as possible without revealing too much into my personal life being on this app.
You know, it was a lot of things that she said. Like I said, I didn't agree. She was like, you're not understanding. I'm like, no, I understand perfectly well. I just don't agree. And that's not just her. A lot of people do that. I noticed that if you're like, oh, I don't agree with that. No, you don't understand. No, I understand. I just don't agree. And that is what it, because I was celibate for 5 years before I met Corey. You know what I mean? And I was happy to be one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. So that's why I thought it was like really wild for someone to throw that out, right? And I know people would assume things about me because I wear sparkly high heels and eyelashes, and I got a bare face right now. But y'all see me all gussied up and stuff, and people assume that I'm vapid, or they may have assumed, you know, if I'm dressed a little scantily that day, you may assume that I'm out here, you know, with friendly panties or whatever. But I was celibate for a whole 5 years, right? Happy to do so. No one forced me to do it. It was a decision that I wanted to make because I didn't want, right, to have other spiritual energies on me, because I'm a person, I'm in the belief of, if we're having physical intimacy, that this is much more than a physical act. And I don't want whatever other spirits you may have on you. I don't want the spirit of poverty on me. I don't want the spirit of chaos on me, spirit of rejection, spirit of anger, spirit of confusion. I wanted to make sure when I lay with a man, I'm with a man that has energies that I'm happy to multiply and incubate as a woman. I want a man with the spirit of prosperity and understanding and vision and leadership, right? A man with the spirit of like creativity. I want good stuff. So that's what I was looking for. So until I got to know him and felt that type of divine connection with him, then I was like, okay, right? So I honestly, I feel like there's an uptick in men and women actually practicing celibacy. And to L'Oreal, what you were saying, we were actually getting somewhere. A lot of the times, people aren't taught how to date. James says we have got to have a conversation. We have got to have a conversation without the ad hominems and without forcing our opinions on others. If you're going to force your opinions, then at least come with tangible facts. Slots. Yes, she is attractive, and she is exactly what I was talking about when I said some men will actually bet a woman they don't even like, but don't pursue a relationship, yet along marriage with them.
Hey, Ashley, is Gemini done? Because I want to make sure he's done before I comment.
Gemini, do you have anything to add? Braylon would like to comment.
I want to let Brendan go, but I definitely
No, bro. No. Listen, I've done enough of this live TV thing. It's your time. I just wanted to be respectful to you as a brother. I just want to make sure you had your voice out.
Thank you. We were talking about how at least I was saying how we aren't taught how to date, and I have, like you, Ashley, have gone through my period of celibacy and preparing and clearing myself, clearing my own spiritual energy, and being a better person. So and now I've actually been divorced for quite some time, but again, like the story says, after 15 years, he's considering it again. It's been quite some time since my divorce was finalized. It's almost, I don't even want to say.
You don't have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to say.
But it's definitely, I've been looking. It has been a challenge. There has been it's definitely something that you have to pick through, especially with all of the different considerations that you have as far as why you want to do it, why you want to be a husband. And again, it was, I am on this app and I always am talking about how we need to really focus on building families in order to build a better community, in order for us to keep going into the next generation. I believe in coming together, and there is a distrust that is evident in a lot of us with each other when it comes down to what creating families is about, what it looks like. Yet we complain a lot about not having these communities. Communities are groups of families that come together. And if we're not making those and we don't understand how to make those, a lot of, the marriages or the relationships are, just like you said, they're on paper. They're just on a way for someone to look good. It doesn't really function as it's supposed to, because we're not doing it with its real purpose of building. So I am done, but I definitely thank you again.
No, thank you. That was gracefully said. Freedom MM said, your attitude is how your personality smells. Smells, fam. Bros love how most women look, but they can't commit to that funk. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Braylon, go ahead, and then L'Oreal, I want you to come in after Braylon.
No, I mean, listen, the truth is the truth. Listen, amen to that. You know what? I will say this. I agree with what Gemini said. And each man is different, just like each woman is different. I have learned a long time ago that each platform requires a different energy. When I went to Parkview Arts and Science Matinee High School, I graduated May 23rd, 2012. But during that time, everybody that I saw was in a relationship. And I'm just like, okay, what the hell? Like, I mean, I know I ain't, no young Morris Chestnut or nothing, but like, come on now, I open up the door for women. Like when me and my family go out, I literally open up the door for my mom and my sister to the point where my dad opens up the door. I always ask my friends, text me when you get home, because that's the way I've been raised. And I'm like, why is nobody wanting me? But then I realized something. I want a relationship just to have something going on in my life. I wasn't ready for the responsibility of it. And so what I've been doing is having a mental celibacy of my mindset, of recognizing, why do I want a relationship for myself? What do I have to give to this person? But bigger than that, what is in me that I'm giving to me that makes sense? Is what I'm giving to me making me happy? Because if it's not making me happy, I'm not going to be able to give it to anybody. I feel like my life, if anybody asked me, Braylon, what movie would describe your life? It would be Hitch. I am the black Kevin James, a nerd that knows a lot of things. I am clumsy sometimes with how I say things, but I come through with good intentions. I had to be coached up just a little bit. But by the end of the movie, I actually get the person that I really wanted, not because of the coaching, but because I've done enough work on myself and that person loved me for who I am. And just because someone is having a mental celibacy or a physical celibacy doesn't mean they're not available. That just means they have standards and requirements. That's it. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'm surprised what comes out my damn mouth because I'm like, for you being 29 years old, you should not be this articulate, smart, and educated. But at the end of the day, people
You
invested
better
in
tell
me.
yourself, Braylon.
So listen,
You better let the people know, Braylon. My lovely L'Oreal.
I had so many questions. I got questions, son. I'm like, wait a minute now.
What type of questions you got, girl?
So, I find it hard for women who are entrepreneurs and in the business mindset to cut it off.
You
Yeah,
said you don't know how to cut off boss life.
yeah. Like that, there'd be a lot of times like I'm thinking about that. I can cut it off to be a mom. But after that, it's like, you know what I mean? And I don't even know if I'm ready for a relationship. I don't think I am. I know I'm not. Let me cut it. But because that's not even in my thought pattern right now. But I find this so interesting. I didn't know Shirley Strawberry was gonna bring me down the lane now. I want to know. I have so many questions now. Like, where would you find? Like, where would you ultimately go to look? What's ideal for a woman to be for you to look for a wife? Like, where would you go to look for a wife? I want to know from the men. Like, where you going? All those things, and then like, I just got so many questions now.
Okay, Braylon and Gemini. The question is, where do you go to look for a wife?
oh, well, I think that depends on your mindset and your age. For example, if I want to meet someone of character, I would find out what they're interested in. So, that may be at Beyonce's Renaissance concert. Can they follow the mute challenge? Because if they can't follow the mute challenge for artists that don't pay their paycheck, how they going to be able to follow when I need them to be quiet? I know y'all didn't think Beyonce was going to be that deep, but it is what it is. Maybe you find them at a conference, right? Maybe, listen, maybe you might be at a grocery store and you might see your favorite tequila and you strike up a conversation. So I would say, find places that is intentional to you as a person. And if you find something that is worthy to connect on, then go for that connection. But that's my answer where I'm at. I think Gemini is going to fill in the blanks because he's been through more than me, respectfully. So Gemini, over to you.
Look, Braylon, James Franklin said, I hope I'm spelling your name right. He said, I got one more daughter to marry off. He said he got pics of her. If you browse my page, Braylon, you better put the handle in. He said, I am James Franklin now. Baby, go ahead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Kingdom
oh, my Lord.
I can say it happened on my live stream. On 9/13, baby, Braylon and James Franklin Jr.'s daughter met, and it's a match.
Lord Jesus,
you gotta step in. The daddy like how you're talking, okay? That's a big event. You better go over there and see if that girl is fine.
Well, listen, I will definitely take advantage of that. So I see I have two responsibilities: to go handle that IG, and then to come back and help Gemini for Date Gemini, which will be on Ashley Ann's YouTube channel somehow.
Braylon gonna be in a relationship, okay? Gemini already in the courtship, so we can't date Gemini. Maybe Gemini got a single brother with the same type of vocal ability. I don't know.
Gemini can't open up my mind for the what else now. What is?
Lord help. Gemini, over to you, man. I cannot. Oh, my Lord Jesus, that was great.
I do agree. she can be found anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She can be found anywhere. That doesn't mean that's always going to be the best. Where should you go as a man if you do have, I can't even say if you do have, as a man, having your spiritual foundation is going to be important. So if you, the way you believe, you need to go there and find a woman who believes that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read the Bible a lot in my life from a young age. I've been reading from a young age. So there are a lot of wisdoms that we all should be able to interpret from the Bible. But we have to be equally yoked. We have to believe in the same God and understand what our purposes are supposed to be in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not operating on that accord, you could meet her anywhere and y'all can have all of the same interest and, you know, and you serve one God, she serves another, and you're not going to end up in the same place.
That's real right there. That's real.
Yeah, that was a word. That was a word.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give everybody the last words before we close out. I got lots of questions, so we'll be back tomorrow, honey. I got a whole page, okay, of questions. And I love the dynamic. I like that we got a good age spread across the board in here tonight on our panelists. I like different life experiences going on with the panelists. I like what's happening in the chat and with the commentary, right? I like all of it. I even like our little contentious lady that was just in here. Now she out here throwing a hissy fit like a toddler because I'm one of those people. I'm gonna stand on what it is, 10 toes down, baby. I'm not finna drop off of nothing just because somebody, disagree with me or whatnot. That was a little odd. But it takes all kinds to make the world go round. That's what I'm gonna say on that. AP, what are your final thoughts? Is it just for tonight? Because like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back on earlier tomorrow, y'all. I know it's during the weekend, y'all got to go to work and carry on. I'm not gonna keep y'all up late like this tomorrow night.
Hold on, y'all. Before AP goes, I'm.
You're right,
not a
Riri.
person who, I'm not a person who start drama or nothing like that. I don't even get down like that. I don't even say nothing bad to nobody or nothing but my spirit right now. My spirit. We've been at 20,000 likes for I don't know how long.
You're right.
So if y'all don't mind, while everybody is, saying their last, few words for the night before we, we join together later on this afternoon, can y'all please get us up to at least 30,000 likes? At least 30,000 likes. Please, sir. Please, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please, sir. That's all I ask. See, I had a good knock-knock joke for y'all and everything. But I think I'm going to just wait and save it till tomorrow.
We got to wait tomorrow for the knock-knock joke.
Yeah, gotta wait.
I love the knock-knock joke at the end. Okay, it's a long night, so I'm going to wait till tomorrow, but I want this knock-knock joke tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, whenever Riri mods for me, she always has a knock-knock joke when we're ending, okay? And I be living for these knock-knock jokes. They just tickle me, all right? It's all right. You leave on a high note. But I do need to make this announcement while y'all are tapping. So I had my first TikTok battle tonight. And we won. Oh my God, we won. I mean, we won. We won one. Okay. So I was super excited. So to celebrate tomorrow, everybody voted, and it was overwhelming that you guys wanted me to put one of the marketing courses on sale. So y'all will see it'll be a button at the top of my page. When you click the link in my bio, it'll be a big green button in there, and it's going to be it'll say $7 make you holler. And so I'm taking a product and I'm marking it all the way down to $7 tomorrow to celebrate us winning our first TikTok battle. My emotions were all over the place. I was so thankful and grateful that y'all got me out here in these streets as a champion, okay, that they did not penetrate the kingdom walls and that we are still victorious out here because they tried to conquer us, but we are victorious, okay? Y'all came through for me tonight. And I was like, we just all got to celebrate this. And we won over Kev the Comic. Kev be taking out everybody. He even beat Soldier Boy twice battling, okay? Kev beats almost everybody. He had these crazy 50, 60 battle winning streaks, okay? So the opponent was a real opponent, all right? So I was super excited. Y'all came through for me tonight. So tomorrow, y'all will see a $7 sale that will be up. I'll put it in the stories on YouTube. It'll be in the stories on Facebook and also on TikTok and Instagram and all of that. So if your money been a little funny and you need a little help with your marketing, tomorrow is a great day for you because we'll have a $7 product. So I'm super, yeah, I'm still on a little buzz from my little victory. I was like, oh snap, we the won TikTok battles in these streets. But it was fun. It was also very nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. What time, girl? I don't know. So this is the thing. I'm not a full-time content creator. I know that's surprising to y'all because y'all are like, God dang, you got a lot of followers though. Because I'm a professional marketer. I'm literally like one of the top social media strategists in the country. I've been doing business development for 14 years now. And so I actually am a real life entrepreneur. And so I have companies that I run offline, like in real life. So I literally, when I'm streaming and stuff, I just get in where I fit in. So if you click the link in my bio and join my royal court, I'll shoot out an email to you guys. And I normally will say, oh, I'm gonna be live at 5 o'clock today or 4 o'clock. Sometimes if I can get a jump on it. I used to be good about putting it in the stories. Oh, thank you, Gemini. I used to be good about putting it in the stories. I need to get back to that. I don't know why I stopped. And I used to make a cute little graphic to say, oh, I'll be on at 6 o'clock and we're covering XYZ element of P. I'm going to try and get back in the habit of that, especially for all of the TikTok Kingdom members. But yeah, y'all bear with me. Now, y'all are watching a master in the process because y'all are watching me pivot. Some people on Instagram are amazed. They're like, holy crap. So within 2 years, oh, you better believe most people won't even know that I'm a whiz at business development. People will know me for my interior design. They will know me for cooking, a little event design, and I'm gonna be getting paid a bunch of money to take care of my babies and my husband. That's what you guys are witnessing right now in the process, right? I'll continue to push the manifestation and the mental toughness, right? The mindset, community building, overall just general mentorship for my clients that already know what I do. If y'all refer more clients to me on the business side, I'll take them on. But watch what your girl is saying. Every blue moon, y'all be like, they're gonna be like the girl that's making lavender lemonade. What do you mean? She's a business genius? I'm like, So so yeah, that's what I'm in the process of transitioning. I told y'all, like I started warning y'all last year. I have different goals I aspire to at this point in my life. Yes, I can run successful businesses. I built 5 multi-million-dollar companies at this point. But I want to be a successful mother and I want to be a successful wife. And so I had to really think about what business avenue would I be able to utilize where I'd be able to generate the type of income that I'm making now, but be able to dedicate, time to a family. So y'all will be seeing me do a little bit more and more. Yeah, y'all see me creeping it in like little bits. Y'all know sometimes on Sundays we be up in here making tea together and all that kind of stuff. Or y'all notice me dropping content like with cleaning, organization, stuff like that. Pay attention. You got to pay attention to what people are doing. So I have those staggered in between, right? Business tips. And then you may see grocery shopping. I'm like, oh, let me talk to y'all about building a business while I'm doing my makeup. Well, eventually it won't be business talk. It'll just be me doing my makeup and nobody will realize what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what's happening in real life right now. And I love business and I love business development. So I'll never give it up. But it takes a lot of time for me to, part of the reason I have the high track record that I have, y'all, for those of you that know, I've helped almost 900 people hit 6 figures. 174 is about to be 178 of my clients by the end of the year will be able to say they've done $1 million in under a year. Thanks to me. I have 4 clients that earn over $10 million a year. In order to build people's businesses to that capacity, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes an extreme amount of effort and focus, and it's a big draw on the time. So, right. So that means I have to make some shifts. That means I have to take on fewer clients, just different things like that. And then at the same time, like, okay, well, at this point, I'm accustomed to a certain level of living. So I don't want the income to drop. And Corey tells me I don't have to work, but I enjoy, for me, I'm a true tourist. I like the safety net of us being able to live out of one income and take the other income and use it for investments, properties, stuff like that. So I don't think I'll ever not work because I like people and I like servicing people. So yeah, so just FYI, you thinking like, oh, I'm gonna work with her 1-to-1 in the years. Now, baby, you trying to get with me 1-to-1, you better hop on it. You trying to get in the millionaire suite, you better get to it, because the prices by the time next year comes, y'all gonna be like, holy moly. And let me tell you this, I'm worth every penny, because I've been keeping my prices way below market to help, to assist in the community. But I want fewer clients, but I still want their revenue. So that means the prices got to go up. So if you've been thinking about working with me, baby, I would highly encourage you to do it before the end of this year, because in 2024, y'all gonna be like, oh, she wasn't playing, them prices went up. And I'll be like, okay, more money, less people. Makes sense, don't it? So yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. And y'all are gonna see me doing more and more brand deals. But I still always have my own business. I don't ever want to be a person that has to rely on brand deals, because I want to be able to speak my mind and stand on what I have to say without the fear in my head that someone's gonna cancel me and all of a sudden I'm gonna lose, a $250,000 brand deal. I don't have time for that. The brand deals are just icing on the cake for me. But we'll talk about all that another time, okay? Because they do be paying, okay? For those of you that are thinking about becoming influencers, there's definitely a lot of money to be made out here. You can get paid $30,000, $40,000 for 2 or 3 posts over a 2-month span, easily, a lot easier than you think. I'm sorry, y'all, that took us way off topic. But yes, AP, go ahead and give me closing thoughts, girl.
I just appreciate you. Thank you for having me up on the panel. I think I learned a lot, just different perspectives. Thank you all actually on the panel, because this was definitely something that was like good to my brain. So I appreciate y'all. Other than that, good Lord, this story is tragic. So
it is, but don't let it scare you though.
Yeah, that was.
don't let it scare you. You're young, you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You figure out what you want for yourself. Figure out, do you want a husband and a family, or do you want to be single, or whatever? There's no right or wrong answer. And if you decide that you want a husband, this is what your big cuz Ashley Ann will tell you though. I'm not saying that your whole life needs to revolve around trying to find a man, but you're going to have to put effort in it. The same way you put effort into going to school, same way you put effort into your career, you need to, have a mindset of, I'm going to put effort into attracting, a man. And once we find a good candidate, of, I'm going to be committed to this relationship. And I believe that a lot of the older Black women are doing a disservice whenever we're not telling our younger sisters the truth, right? That there needs to be some effort and some attention to it if you decide that you want to be married. I don't want you to be sitting around and one day you're 48 and you realize, oh my God, I should have tried to find a life partner. I should have tried to find a husband. No, like, do it now so you have the opportunity to build some good memories with somebody. And I'm not saying run out and get married tomorrow, but really think about it. And if that's what you want, then you start putting the effort into it.
I will. Something to do. I will, because thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks, Gemini, Riri. You so silly, girl. Everybody, thank you guys so much. Y'all have a good night, and I'll be back when we have more discussion on it this weekend.
You too, AP. Thank you, gorgeous. You too, yes. Don't y'all agree? My older sisters in here, we gotta tell our young girls the truth. I'm not saying they gotta jump up and get married when they 18, 19 years old, But if they 25, 26, yeah, you might need to start looking for a husband or trying to attract a husband, shall I say. Putting yourself in the proximity of husbands so you can be seen. And they can see you. And it's okay if you don't know what you want yet. Cause I didn't know. It took me a minute to figure it out. Like, even though I was already technically a wife, I had to make sure, I'm like, well, do I want to be married because society says I'm supposed to be married and my family says I'm supposed to be married? Or do I really have a desire to build a family and a legacy with someone? Right. Turns out I did. And I figured it out. And then I made it a priority to get my husband. Okay. It was like, hey. You said they shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. What do you mean by that, Marilyn, that they shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel? Braylon, what are your last thoughts this evening?
First of all, love you, of course. Morel, Gemini, AP, everybody. This was a fascinating conversation. So to that brother, I will send, well, Ashley Ann has my IG, so she will send the IG if she wants to over there. And we got a dating show to produce. No,
you want me to send the IG to James Franklin?
Listen.
Hold on. I'm finna do it. You think it's a game?
I mean, listen, since it was already said, did you go
and look? Because but what he did is basically he was like, he gave you his social so you can make sure that you're attracted to his daughter. That's what he did. That's why he said, go over here and look at his page.
I thought he messaged it on YouTube. I'm guessing he
messaged me on YouTube.
Okay.
But he on IG too. Hold on.
Okay, well, listen, I mean, it was said on YouTube, so I honor commitments. Okay, that's one thing about me. I will say I think this was a great live. And I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is we're all are looking for love. We're just taking different routes to get there. And I will say this at the end of the day, I said this to
God, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Beautiful, James. Oh, and she has such a pretty smile. She's
okay.
You better get over there, Bray.
I will take a look. I will take a look for sure.
Be attractive because James is a good-looking man. Normally, good-looking men make good-looking offspring. She's really pretty.
Understood.
And her smile is beautiful.
Well, I will definitely take a look for sure. I can't do that because
she's naturally pretty. She's not manufactured pretty. She's
Lord help.
No,
manufactured pretty.
Well, let's keep it a bug. Some girls.
No, you're right. You're right.
Take off the makeup and they're unrecognizable.
That's true.
Let's not pretend like that's not a real thing.
No, that's very true, Ashley.
No,
that is very true.
She's pretty. Like if she can go out the house with no makeup, no wig on, pretty. She's pretty.
Okay, like I said, I will definitely take a look for sure.
Go look, and if you are, tell me, and I will show enough send the DM to James.
Okay,
you already got past the first one. You'd have got past the daddy. You'd have made it in the arena now. Braylon.
Yeah, listen, and that's not easy to do. But when you've been raised right, you can conquer some levels. But no, I really do feel like at the end of the day, we all are looking for love in different capacities. And I said this on my live tonight. When it comes to speaking to grown women, but I think this rule should apply to everybody. If a young person can mess up by not understanding responsibility, and a grown person can mess up with having responsibility, then where does that leave you? Now, it really depends on your connection. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to get to know somebody, don't pretend to relate to everything they've been through, because that's wasting your time, their time, and the time that y'all could have together. Relate to what you can. Wherever you can't relate to, use those as tools to build up your relationship. Be about construction, not destruction. That's my final word for tonight. Love you, Ashley, and everybody on
I
the
just
panel. And
love you back,
I
brother.
will connect soon. Child, we got a dating show and me, maybe with a potential relationship. And
Baby,
Laurel
let,
was
let me
was
let me let
and
me
and
find
and
let me
and
find
and
out. Let me
and li-
find out what Jimmy
and listen, Laurel was serenade tonight, so everybody got something from this live. So listen.
to my lovely L'Oreal girl. I just love your energy and you're hilarious to me. I love the tone of your voice. I like everything. What are your final thoughts tonight, my dear?
And I learned so much from this conversation tonight. I loved it. I loved it. I'm looking forward to the next one tomorrow, man.
Right?
It's just real eye opening how much, and I love to hear from older people too. Just how things have changed in my mind. Like I know it's changed, but not really. I feel like in the Black community, we just told similar to the other lady, like you go to school, you go to college, you get married. That's it. You know what I mean? And it's like we don't get no steps, no guidance.
Yeah.
We don't get no game. We just go out there like Bambi, man. Bambi.
But y'all were on it when y'all said that, when all of y'all brought that up tonight, that for the most part, a lot of people aren't taught how to date in our community. And then everybody just looks at you when you hit 30 and they're like, well, where's your husband? Where's your
Yeah.
wife? And you're like, well,
Yeah.
how the heck am I supposed to get there?
Agreed.
Yeah, like that was a very, very, very valid point. And I know that I'm in the minority, just because I come from a marriage-minded family. They have drilled into us real talk that, this is legacy, this is how you build wealth, this is your togetherness, this is your safety haven, this is how you're gonna be able to tap into an abundant life. So they really taught us like, how to date. Let me tell y'all, this is how serious my grandma and my mother, this is how serious they were. We were not allowed to go out the house in high heels until we could walk with a book on our head without dropping it and be able to sit down and stand back up with it. That's to this day why I walk so well in heels. And people like how that, like, I mean, they were very serious about, oh no, when a man comes over here, he's supposed to come and ring the doorbell. You don't jump out the door, like a trollop if a man honks his horn at you. Like, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
they
they
were
told me
they
that
were
part.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
like really serious with a lot of things about, telling us if a man, when he's having conversation or you're dating, at the time as a boy, well, okay, is the conversation all about your body and him wanting to feel on you or massage you, or is there actual conversation happening, where you guys are able to connect? And I mean, just all kinds of stuff. How do you conduct yourself on the date? What you should be paying attention to, what you should be looking at, how you're supposed to make your man feel. My mom and my grandma would always tell us, you hype your man up, you pump that man's ego up. You're his number one cheerleader because he goes out into the world and he has so much that he has to face. You want him to be happy to come home, to you. So that just a lot, like there's so many things. And my grandma and my aunts and my mama, they kept it real with us on like, this is how you conduct yourself. This is how this is, you're a wife. Like they would always tell us like, no, you're already a wife. And this is how you carry yourself as a wife so that your husband will recognize you. And I didn't realize until I got older, probably like when I got to college, when I realized that I had, it was such an advantage and such a blessing, and that it was also very uncommon that, that my mom and my aunties, and my grandma, that they really made sure to train the girls, and my uncles and my pawpaw. My daddy doesn't have any sons, but they all pitched in and they trained the boys, and they said, this is what it is, and this is what we expect. And you get out here and go do good things. But I didn't realize that a lot of people weren't taught how to date or basic etiquette, or even how to like maintain, right, the structure of a happy relationship and a happy home.
Right. I think a lot of us are told what to do, but not the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about pivoting, and that's what I do every day. I'm a florist, and then I come do interior design. I
Yes.
have, 2 boys, so I pivoted. That wasn't my original dream, but
I had
that's
a floor
something
shop. I had a floor shop for years.
yes. So I really resonate with that, but it is something to be said. You tapping into something right there. A lot of us don't know that's a market that needs to be in our culture. Something like that. Look into that too, Ashley. I ain't lying.
Join
I'm
Monetization Nation. I got the relationship boosters in there. I actually have psychologists and therapists, licensed ones in there. And so one of their things that they're dealing with is, helping all of our successful people be prepared for marriage, be prepared for dating, relationships, proper communication, self-awareness, self-evaluation, right? Working on yourself to make sure you're the man or the woman, that when you meet your spouse, that you're a man or a woman that they desire as well. A lot of times we just think about what we desire. Well, no, you also got to think about what does that other person desire, and are you a good fit for it?
Yeah. I'm getting in there, girl. I took one of your classes before. I heard you on the podcast one time, honey, and I ain't never left. And when you pop on, I pop on inside.
Thank you so much. Well, look, come on to
I
Monetization.
need come on back on over there.
We got all the trainings in there, and we do. And that's the one where I do the weekly live classes. So we cover personal credit, corporate credit. We do YouTube. I'm in ads training right now for the ones that are in Monetization Nation Elite. We go through sales, and then I host an insight session in there at least once a month too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in that thing.
Come on, girl.
Y'all better come on, man.
My unofficial YouTube co-host. I love it. I do. I like the dynamics of you and Braylon together, and I really love all of the guests tonight. Like I said, it's a variety of ages and life experience. That's part of the reason I think the conversation went so well, because all of y'all have something to add. And at a different stage. It's one thing with a bunch of old people talking, a bunch of young people talking, a bunch of middle age. We even had Miss Cream, what was she, Cream and Cash? Yeah. There was an older lady that was with us initially, and I love the fact that she was up here. Y'all know I love my aunties and my uncles. I love it when they come on in the building too. That's the type of conversations we have to move things forward, because all of us have very different life experiences. And that's how I feel like you get more of a holistic perspective and you actually start building your community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very factual.
Very true.
Factual.
Y'all are fantastic. And y'all got a good amount of humor too. I love it.
Listen.
Gemini, what are your final thoughts this evening?
Thank you again, Ashley. Thank you. It has been a pleasure to be up here tonight. Final thoughts. Braylon, yeah, go check that out, Braylon. Bro.
Yeah, she's very, very pretty. Very.
Okay, look, send over the IG and let me see it, y'all. Y'all are okay.
He put it in the chat? Is at I am James Franklin.
Okay.
And you don't have to scroll down that far, and you will see beautiful. She has like a beaming energy. Her smile is gorgeous, like kilowatt gorgeous, but she's pretty herself.
Why am I not seeing it in my chat?
Some people, they'll just be like, "Oh, they have nice eyes." No, the girl, she's a beautiful girl. I'm
not seeing it in my live chat.
Oh no, just write it down. I am James Franklin. Okay. Go over there and you see this man's daughter now.
Hang on. I'm about to type it in. Hang on.
Get it together, Braylon.
You go over. Don't get nervous. Listen. The girl is a stunner. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. She's a beauty. I'm telling y'all, that says a lot. When a woman can go out with a bare face, okay, and look beautiful.
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. Everybody ain't able now.
Everybody ain't able, baby. She is able. Okay, that's a blessing right there. That's a blessing.
Yeah. You better go see now. Go
ahead, Gemini. I apologize.
Again, yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure. I agree that we do need to look at what we've been taught as far as how it comes to dating and mate selection and understanding, really building a community. That is definitely, I think, that's one of the things that we've lost. We have the connection from, us looking alike. We got the skin to understand that we are a community, but we don't really understand what that entails as far as how we build. We have been Americanized in our thoughts, and we're Americanized, and we include ourselves, and sometimes in things that we're not included in. So we need to create our own within that. And that's why it is important for us to build communities. It is important for us to build families, and to really understand we can't take any of it with us. So what are we doing for the future? It's always going to be about the future.
Well said. Ain't no lies there. Oh Lord, I'm sorry, y'all, to push this little disco ball on accident. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gemini. Oh no, did it drop? Okay, it's got Riri on the other side. I'm like, what is that? Oh no, wait, can you unmute? It muted Gemini. Wait, I'm so sorry.
What did you do?
I pushed a little disco ball on accident. Wait, Gemini, will it let you unmute?
Now, yes.
Okay, that's what like it's the muted them. I'm sorry, y'all. It's late.
What's the countdown thing? Why does it have a countdown?
So they have this feature called a show, and what it does is it takes all of us and it puts us in rotation. And technically, you're supposed to be performing like a talent show. And then as other people come in, like eventually when your timer counts down, then it'll move Gemini over, and he'll be in the big box, and he's supposed to perform. And then eventually I'll perform. And if we have other people that come in, it puts everybody in like one by one. I don't know. I'm sure this is gonna be a fun feature, but
Everybody was powerful.
yes, and I was trying to hit the little multi person, and I accidentally hit the little disco ball and it started. So I apologize. I'm sorry, y'all.
People are gonna love this for debates. They're gonna give you your time, let you say what you want to say, and then cut you off and switch you out.
That's what I'm thinking, baby, because Gemini, the people will keep going and going and going and going. Baby, I was hanging tight with Peter Saturday, and I was just like, OMG. Like some of them, I was like, I need a foghorn so I could just be like, bom, 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 like, shut up. Like, we get it. Like, because I like to let everybody get the initial points, and then we can get into open discussion, right? That's more fun that way. Oh, Jesus.
I would be scared. I've been in a live with you and Peter together. I would be frightened to be in just a live with just you and Peter.
It was good. I was operating as his mod. I was just in there, keeping the order. But baby, some of them was wearing me out. And I was like, I need a timer. I was like, I need a timer right now because these people be going and going. And it took us from 3:35 until like 6:15 to get through the initial thoughts.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So y'all know we're a little bit easy over here. We all have our thoughts, we have our conversation, and everybody's able to like move on. But baby, they come through okay over there. I was like, ooh, Jesus. And we got through, but I was just like, and somebody came in, they tried to interrupt, and I was like, no, there's no interruptions. No, you're gonna let this person get it out. No interruptions. Everybody else. They probably was like, Ashley is wigging today. I had it at that point. I was like, God dang it, let them get it out.
Listen, sometimes producing a show is harder than hosting the show. Understand? Listen.
Well, again, just to wrap up, I sincerely thank you. I want to say this: we're not as bad, and I think that there are examples of good brothers out here that sisters should take into account. All of us are not wrapped in the right, most appealing packages. I will say that, brothers, and I'm speaking personally. pay attention to your health.
Mm.
Get your bodies right. Make sure you do that. Just keep them right. Don't nobody, as much as they have this body positivity movement, and men are allowed to be a little heavier, don't let it go too far, fellas.
I agree
Because
with you.
that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I agree with you. It's the same for women, baby. You gotta keep that butt to gut ratio in check.
Right. Because as much as they say they like a little belly on you, yeah, they like a little belly on you, but you make sure you got everything else tight. Because if not, it will be a struggle for you. We got to be honest, not all of us are going to be as appealing. But I think, you know, we got the kind of short end of the stick on that one anyway. Just, you know, from the natural perspective, we aren't the pretty ones. They are. So, but yeah, give them something nice to look at too and feel on too, because they want it to. I do believe in being balanced. I also believe in an order. There is an order that we have that we should follow. The Creator made it that way for a reason. Outside of that, it like I said, this is something that we can't get past. We have to be honest with ourselves and look at, you know, what side of the coin are we on? What do we want to be the good guys? Do we want to be the bad guys? Are we being compassionate and empathetic to those who we're trying to be in relationship with? Are we being honest with ourselves and with them? None of us are perfect. All we can do is strive to be better until we become one with the all. Peace.
Beautiful.
Amen. By the way, I think I found the right account. She is a stunner.
I told you. I told you. I would not
listen. I think it's the right account. I'll have to message you, Ashley, to make sure I think I found the right one. But no, she's a stunner. She is a stunner.
I told you. I was like, ooh, I was like, she is pretty.
Listen, and since we are talking about body positivity, hashtag FUPAs matter. Amen. Praise him. Hallelujah. Anyway, we should leave. We should leave right now because Jim and I was just so articulate, and then I come in at the damn end. So anyway, love all of y'all.
Let me tell y'all this, lady. FUPA does matter, but baby, you make sure that FUPA ain't FUPAing too much. Okay. Okay, you make sure the FUPA ain't doing too much. Well,
listen,
nobody do. Okay, ladies, I'm saying that as a big gal, okay, but I'm a big shapely gal, and you better believe I still do my core workouts. You better believe I hit some walks, some jogs, and you better believe I've been here with kettlebells and on the weights. All right, like you got. Yeah, we want to be big sexy, not big sloppy. If you're a big girl, okay, keep it. We don't want no high blood pressure. We don't want no diabetes.
Amen.
I don't want none of y'all out here talking about you can't get up and down the stairs because you can't breathe or your knees hurt. Okay, we don't want none of that. We don't want none of that. If you get to the point you can't do regular activities, if you winded from walking from the back of the parking lot, okay, to the front of the door, you got to change the things.
Lord help.
If you put on your underwear in the morning and it's too tight, okay, your drawers getting too little, baby, the dryer is not shrinking everything. Y'all, ooh, the dryer shrunk it. No, the dryer didn't shrink all of it, baby. You got larger. Okay? Nothing got smaller, right? I mean, this is the reality.
No, you're right.
They put a lot of spandex and lycra in women's clothing, and it will sometimes, like, you'll gain more weight than you thought you gained. Like when you're old school and pants that don't have stretch, or in a pair of jeans, like, you know, if you're doing too much because the button will start pressing into your belly button and it's uncomfortable. And you be like, ooh, you be like, let me get it together real quick. But see, that spandex and all them jeggings and carrying on, they just stretch with you. And before you know it, you wake up one morning and your drawers too small. You got
It's
to
the
try.
realness for me, man. It's
You
the
gotta keep
realness
That's
it
for me.
real.
real.
That's
Okay,
real.
even look, and I will tell you, baby, I'm a proud big baddie any day. But do you see a double chin on me? No. You see
Yeah,
me big
yeah.
black with me, baby? No, none of that. Okay, I'm gonna be big fine. I understand I'm a statuesque woman, okay, but I got to, you got to keep it together. Okay, I'm literally only a cheeseburger away. Okay? I'm literally only a cheeseburger away from waking up one morning and saying the dryer shrunk my clothes. No.
Lord help.
I'm working on getting on back down. I'm in the process trying to drop another 25, 30 pounds right now. Like, stop playing with me. Like, because this is the thing, body positivity does not mean you just don't care about your body.
No,
Right.
that is true.
We'll have that as another conversation, okay?
Yeah.
And you got to be careful when you're a bigger girl because you can go from big sexy to SpongeBob like that, baby. We can't be out here looking like Dr. Robotnik. No, that's not the ministry we want to be called to. Okay?
I will say this: I had to get a lot better with my friends because there are some that they do breast reduction surgery because it does hurt their back medically and stuff like that. And what I often say to my voluptuous friends is, listen, if he don't like it, he ain't the one that I'm available. But after I say that, though, I always say, if you're going to do it for yourself. Because I promise you, if you try to do it for anybody else, you will fail. But I will say this, though, and this is to let y'all know how real it is. So there's this clip of this woman saying, I'm going to get this Birkin, I'm going to get this money, and I'm going to lose this fupa. So the guy kicks the cup with these colored pencils. Y'all, I posted this comment so long ago. Y'all, it's almost 300 likes. It's actually at 300 likes of that one comment. I tell y'all that to let you know this. At the end of the day, when men say that's mine, we know it's yours, but we want you to know that we love you for all of you. So I know losing weight is more mental than anything, but also know if your dude does try to say, hey, that's mine, they know it's yours. They just want you to know that they love you for you. So just represent all the men who like big girls. Amen.
But
Praise him.
ain't nothing wrong with it, okay? Clearly, Corey, like his girls built for it tough, okay? We here for it. But I'm just saying, you gotta get to a point, like, the ladies know what I'm talking about. You start putting on certain outfits and you know what I'm saying? You got to put on a girdle or undergarment with everything. No, you done went too far. Out here looking like a linebacker because you done squoze into 2 or 3 Fajas at one time and they got you like a tube of toothpaste in the middle and everything popping out the top. No, it's too much. No, that's not. You're not fooling anyone, ma'am. You're not fooling anyone. We all see you moved all the fat up to the top of your back. That's weird. That's weird. That's strange. Like you get to be honest with yourself, okay? It don't matter, right? And because baby, like the TikTok shop, they love to send ads down my timeline of people with the Fajas or whatever. And I see it and I'm like, oh, that looks great. And then old girl turn around. No, ma'am, it don't look great. Your back is big right now. Now you got okay. Because you think about where's the fat going anyway? Okay, it's got to go somewhere. So, child, I'm just saying, like, yes, you want a man that loves all of you and he understands it may be a little weight gain and weight loss here, there, or whatever. But you, like Braylon was saying, you keep it in check for yourself. You should have an image of how you want for yourself. And if you're going to the doctor and they talking about your blood pressure out of control, pre-diabetic, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Your hormones out of whack, you getting random body acne. You going to sleep at night and you wake up and your shoulders hurt, baby. That's because you gained weight. It's too much weight on it. Okay, you over here talking about, ooh, my knees is creaking and carrying on. That kind of stuff. You said, baby, look, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to call out the big bags, but I'm just saying they look real unnatural, and it make the back extra big at the top. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Unbig that back.
your silhouette matters. So sometimes you just got to understand. I got to do some push-ups. I got to do some rolls. You know what I'm saying? I got to do some tricep throws. Sometimes you got to understand. You just gonna have to work out. Okay, you got to work out. Eat your broccoli, eat your spinach, you know what I'm saying? Be like, boom, I'm eating green leafy vegetables with every meal. Eat that first, then eat your little, your little slice of pizza. Sometimes you gotta make some little changes to help you get a better result. That's all I'm saying. And because baby, y'all in these fajas be stressing me out. Shoot. Some of
See,
I know when I see some people they can't breathe.
I could make you a waist trainer, so I ain't never got in no faja. I can never.
Out here crushing your organs. Be free, baby. Be free.
See, Laurel, here's what Ashley Ann. She's the auntie at the family reunion that's going to check in on you, ask how you doing. Now, if you ask her a question, she gonna give an answer. Now, she don't mean to shade you. It's just how she cares. But at the end of it, she's gonna make sure that you okay.
I be talking to myself too. Y'all be seeing me out here at the bridge and hiking and stuff. They with the jump rope, all of that. Like look, you gotta talk, but you gotta keep it real. You gotta
absolutely. And I meant that in love. I really did, because honestly, the way you were saying it was like, you know what, but you meant it from a good place. So I meant that.
I know you meant it in a good way. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't want y'all to lie to me, baby. I'm from an honest family, okay? My mama would come back and she'd be like, "Oh," she'd be like, "Yeah, that'll look." I put on some, and my mama would be like, "Yeah, that'll look way better." And you drop about 15 pounds. I'd be like, "Okay, girl." I'd be like, "Noted. I hear you." Okay.
Yeah. She's saying it nice because some folks in my family, honey. How big they speak, and then how big is you gonna get?
Oh my God. Not how big is you gonna get?
Crush your whole face, honey. Crush your whole face.
Oh yeah, that'll hurt my feelings.
Lord help.
How big are you gonna get?
But they mean it in love. You'll understand it in that moment, but they saying it for a reason.
Right, because somebody got to tell you, because sometimes we can get out of control and we don't realize we out of control. And people that really love you is not an attack, even though people may take it as an attack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you need somebody to kind of help you keep it together sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I said to my little sister that, the day that people don't see anything in you or they're not saying anything to you, that's when you should be worried. If somebody is investing in you, somebody's joking with you, that means they care, no matter how it comes across. So,
yeah.
I'm telling everybody on camera, I don't want to go pull my underwear out the dryer and say, "Oh my God, the dryer shrunk my underwear." Okay, not gonna be me.
Or be at the doctor's office and they tell you got hypertension and all this stuff. That's when it really get real.
And a lot of it is preventative. A lot of it is. If people just take a couple of extra precautions. See, y'all friends that be lying to y'all, they ain't really your friends, don't really love you. Because when your friend know, and they're gonna tell you, it won't be harsh, but they'll tell you in a nice way, like, "Hey, let's go work out together. Hey, let's go for a walk together. Yeah, we need to stop eating out so much. I'm gonna cook dinner. I'll make enough for you." That's your friends, okay? We gonna help it. We gonna help each other keep it together. Okay, the friend be like, "Girl, they just hating. You look fine." Baby, you may not look fine. You may look fine, but your insides may not be fine.
Yeah.
That's the truth. People don't want to talk about. You don't want to be at the doctor finding out that you were a diabetic and you've burned up your kidneys. I know people that's happened to. They had no idea anything was wrong with them, and they went to a doctor, for a random checkup, and found out their kidneys and carrying on weren't functioning because and a lot of it could have been prevented if they would have shifted their diet. So I know I'm out here joking and stuff, but on a serious note, what I'm saying, on a serious note, we all, myself included, okay, we got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Yep. That's very true.
Unapologetically imperfect is wild. She said her mama gave her some pants a few weeks ago and they were too big. I asked her what she was trying to tell me. She said her mama tell her all the time she gaining weight.
Oh Lord!
Oh my God. Riri, what are your closing remarks? Oh my God. This is hilarious.
I have no idea.
Riri, are your drawers too tight?
I was having a moment too. I was like, I remember pulling out years ago a pair of them underwear, and I was like, but damn, what out of my barefoot? Did I take them around the wrong way? We all just had that moment. Just thank Lord, hallelujah. Jesus.
I'm telling you. I'm
But
telling
no, the thing is though, and shout out to the let me be politically correct here. To all the extra small, the large, the medium, the large, the XL, and on up. Back tonight. Thank y'all so much for, staying on the line with us as long as you have. But all seriousness though, we all going through something in life, and sometimes we have to be careful who we're vulnerable to, but then at the same time, we can't forget this thing called discernment that God gave us too. Because like I said, sometimes we are well aware of some things that's going on, but for whatever reason, because of who it is, we might try to get them the past.
Mm-hmm.
Not when it comes to certain things like this here, though. That's not cool. And even speaking on, it's funny that you bring up the conversation about, we don't know how to date. I know we on TikTok and stuff, and I try not to put my personal business out there, but I'm divorced, and I was married for so long, and I got married at a young age. It's like, I really don't know. I know how to be a girlfriend for a little while, but I don't know how to date. It's true what was said, our parents protected us so, and in such a way to where, especially us young ladies, we were sheltered more than the boys were. So kind of like when we did get up to age, it was kind of like we was naive when we got out there in the dating pool, and God can see that. Oh, okay, well, it kind of makes us easy prey, if you will, because we just don't have that, the game or the insight. But even with that being said, though, the one thing that I do notice, though, and you had brought up another thing too, like when growing up, you're right. My parents was just like yours, and even down to the point of, hey, whoever the guy is that I was dating, we need to know about their parents. Mm-hmm. What church do y'all go to? We need to see, what y'all got going on first before, they could even, come, like you said, before he even come over to the house and all that, because he do have to come and knock on the door. It's not no honking the horn or nothing like that, and that's just, chivalry's not dead. It's not dead. And so I know some ladies, I don't know if they're gone or not, that was in the comments. I'm just trying to touch on everything I was thinking of that was said. Where do you go to find good guys? There's still a lot of them out there. Go outside of your normal spot. Go to somewhere different. That's where they are. And then just, like they said, depending on the type of guy that you're looking for, you'll be surprised. Because they're looking for you too, because they are out there. There's still a lot of beautiful black, gorgeous men out here that's looking for a wife. Then what else? I was gonna say something else, but my brain just shut down. But
it's okay when they come back. Just talk about it tomorrow.
But no, the live was everything. And again, like I said, I always pay homage to you because you don't have to get up there Ashley. You really don't. You got your business. You're pretty much set. Your family is set. Y'all is set. We all know this. But for you to give back the way you are, to give us your time the way you are, and like I said, you do it with such grace. This is what we need to see. We need to see. And I know I'm taking notes. I see how you strategically moving across this here, across TikTok. And I've been a follower of you for a long time.
Thank you.
And nothing short of impressed every time I see you. But the class that you have, and it just goes to show that people who have money, they not all of them are not conceited. All of them don't it's just about me, and what I can get. So like I said, I can only imagine the things that you could be doing, but yet that's why God is going to continue to bless you. And that's what I've always told you, because you're so selfless, because your cup is going to forever when it's over. And it's blessing us. So again, thank you so much, Holly.
No, thank you, Riri. Dear. Okay. So with that, you guys, I'll be on. Remember in the morning. I don't know what time in the morning because it's like 2 a.m. where I am right now. So I get up, I make a little $7 product because baby, I get to take tomorrow's a sleep in day for me. Okay. So I get up in the morning, I click, clack, clack. I make the product $7. I will tell you guys what time I'll be live. Like I said, I'm gonna do my best to at least start putting them in the stories again. Because I know that will be helpful to you guys while we're transitioning from a long code to a short code. I know a lot of y'all like, where are my texts? I'm going from a long code to a short code. So as soon as I get the short code, my new number is going to be 919191. I'm so excited. Yeah, I have no idea. We'll talk about the significance of that in a business stream. I'm going to attempt to do 2 tomorrow as well. But we'll see what's happening in the morning. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you guys are on the planet Earth, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. If it's morning time or daytime where you are, have a productive and a prosperous day. If it's evening time, I want you to get yourself a good night's rest. All right. And I will see you guys, well, I guess technically later today. Bye, you guys. Bye, everybody. And thank y'all so much for my TikTok battle win today.